Wop bop a boo bop, wop bam boom. Tutti frutti, all Rudy. Tutti frutti. Wop bop a boo bop,
No one
wop
wants to hear the
bam
singing
boom.
thing, I
Tutti
don't think.
frutti, all Rudy.
Let's see.
Tutti frutti. Wop bop a boo bop,
No one
wop
wants to hear the
bam
singing
boom.
thing, I
Tutti
don't think.
frutti, all Rudy.
Let's see.
Tutti frutti. Wop bop a boo bop,
No one
wop
wants to hear the
bam
singing
boom.
thing, I
Tutti
don't think.
frutti, all Rudy.
Let's see.
Tutti frutti. Wop bop a boo bop,
No one
wop
wants to hear the
bam
singing
boom.
thing, I
Tutti
don't think.
frutti.
Sounds like it's repeating over there on YouTube. I don't know. Unless I got it playing in different places or something like that. Anyway, good morning. Good morning. So we're gonna start off today with let's see where it goes. We could talk about anything. I'm always up for pretty much anything, unless I don't. If I really don't want to talk about it, I'm not going to talk about it. But other than that, I'm all for just chit chatting, talking about different things. Uh, if I'm going to put a limit on some of the things we talked about, but otherwise, we'll talk and we'll go over some stuff. But we're live on YouTube, everyone. So just so you guys know, all right, this is all being live streamed on YouTube for people who join in the group here. If you're not on the call necessarily, you could still watch it on YouTube. That's okay. Let's see. Okay, we are live now. We are live now, people. So let's see. Let's do that. Anyway, how's everyone doing today? Good morning. Good morning. I see you there on YouTube. Good morning,
Good
YouTuber.
morning.
Good morning here. Shell.
I'm back.
Okay. All right. So, what's the good word for today?
I've got a question. This kind of came up in one of the social media platform groups of someone that had just recently filed an ROE, but the IRS came back and is garnishing her wages at maximum penalty because she just filed her ROE, but they're going back the last 3 years because she went exempt 3 years ago. What's the recourse for that in case that happens to me? Because it's literally the exact same thing if that happened to me because I recently filed my ROE, have not
What
heard anything.
what does she do for a living?
She's a nurse. She works at a privately owned, not government owned hospital.
It doesn't matter. They're gonna hold
Oh,
that. Yeah, that's one of the problems is those things. So, are you in Liberty Foundation?
yes.
Course 2.5. That's the
I did.
that's the handling.
Okay. That's the one I had messaged you about. And I did watch that twice at the airport. So,
That's what you got to do. It's the
okay.
2.5 course. So, see, you like how this is the thing I really like about the whole setup there, right? Is the fact that I can just direct you to the course by
Uh-huh.
number, and we
Okay.
have them all structured out now.
Okay.
And we're going to
Awesome.
build more. There's going to be more 2-point courses, 1-point courses, right? There's going to be more Grand Rising Patriots. So there's going to be more and more of that. All right. Uh, we're going to add more courses in. There's going to be all kinds of stuff in this. I think I'm peaking. Am I peaking? I'm going to turn it
Yeah, a
down.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My mic is super sensitive, so because it's built for recording music that I'm
Oh.
using. Yeah, I know. I'm very fancy. I don't know if anyone
Ooh,
could tell, but I like playing music a little bit. I
nice.
have guitars here no one ever sees. Like I got a bunch of guitars in here. I got another one here, right? I
So do
have
you
one.
use Pro Tools and any of that stuff?
Oh God, no, no,
No.
no, no. I have a Mac. I use Logic.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I also have like the old school, like I have a 16 track recorder. I got old school stuff because I've been recording for like almost 30 years now.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah.
Wow. Okay, I have another question since we're here. And I know that this kind of is off topic from it's kind of but kind of not. Anyhow, so the state shouldn't have any legal regards to marriage, correct? I mean, that is a God-given right. I
Yep.
mean, okay, so my thing is I'm in a situation where he wants to get married, but he's like, no, you don't file taxes, you don't do this, blah blah blah. And I'm like, why does the state have to get involved? Since when did that become a thing? And I tried looking up all kinds of different things for Kansas, and it's like, oh, you have to have the marriage license, but why? Is there a way around that? Because he's obviously
Absolutely.
afraid of becoming injured, with his house and
No.
and whatever else.
Yeah, common law marriage. I made a an affidavit for that. Let me see if I can find it. Common law marriage. Common law marriage.
Joe, can't she just use a notary?
No, no, you
Well,
don't
and
use a notary
someone
for this.
someone told me to bring my Bible into the courthouse and have a judge sign it. I'm like, okay,
Nope.
but
Mm-mm. Don't need any of that. I'm looking for it. Affidavit of common law marriage. Found it. Yeah, baby. Okay, I'm gonna show everybody this. I wrote this on a TikTok live a couple years ago because people were bringing up the same kind of issue. So I'm just gonna show everybody here. Um, and anyone who tries to claim that they wrote it, there was a freaking TikTok live where I wrote this. So I put hear ye, right? To be cute. But, it's a big announcement, right? Marriage thing.
Mhm.
Affidavit of common law marriage. Now, the whole point is this is all based off of common law doctrine. This has nothing to do with statutory anything, right? So let it be known to all that the man and woman are now bound to each other through their love and agreement of life and creation of the future together. This evidence of man and woman now joined as one recognized by God in his will and authority and devoid of any other imagined or pretended authority. This
Ah,
marriage, yeah. So you just stick it to these guys, you got to stick it to these guys a little bit, right? Evidence the union of the husband and wife and without any state, county, or any other government agency, corporation, instrumentality, etc., having any interest in this marriage and the products of this common law marriage, right? And then you can make your vows, put your vows in there. Okay, I, the man, bound to my wife. I, woman, am bound to vows of my husband. Signed by the living man, signed by the living woman. And then blood relatives, two blood relatives sign this as witnesses. That's it. You do not need a notary. You don't need a judge. This is a common law marriage. And under common law, all there needs to be is two blood relative witnesses to the marriage. That's it. Right? Get a priest or whoever or a minister to do the ceremony, or do it on a damn ship and get the captain to do it. Right?
and then how does that affect like name change and all that? I mean, can you take that to the DMV and say, hey, I got married, let me change my name?
Where do you go? Why are you going to DMV?
I haven't gotten that far, Joe.
Fair enough.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm working on my passport next. Since
yeah.
I'm back in the States, I'm working on
You
my
can, yeah,
passport.
you can go to the DMV, show them this affidavit and stuff like that. You can even go record it, take a certified copy of the recording and bring it down there and tell them that. If they say this isn't good enough, well, I mean, they just keep using the other name for the driver's
Better
license.
stay here, buddy.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, I haven't gotten that far as like driver's license and stuff. I have contacted Kansas State Assembly. I'm trying to go that route and have that recorded, where you have that different ID card. It's got your thumbprint on it and all that stuff.
What? What is all that? I wouldn't do that.
No?
What is that?
The Kansas Assembly to become,
I
I
don't
don't
do
know.
any of that stuff.
Okay.
No, first of all, the cops don't even the cops will not take that or recognize it. They'll tell you that's fraud, right? And then they'll give you tickets for that shit, right?
Oh,
So, yeah, I don't play those games. You know, I'm like, they've been trained to see that that's sovereign citizen stuff, and that these people are hostile domestic terrorists, and be careful of those people. That's what they're trained on. So I don't mess with those. Plus, the assemblies do a lot of things that I don't agree with. I tried getting involved with assemblies like a decade ago, and they just wouldn't even talk to me then. I was like, they
Oh.
just ignored my emails, everything. I was like, I guess they don't really, I guess they're not looking for people. And so I just gave up on it and just kept doing my own research. I thought that if I joined a group of people who were like constitutionalists, that, you know, we would all be like, yeah, you know, this is great. We can learn together. I emailed them like 12, 15 times, nothing. I said, all right, I guess they're either defunct or something. I saw they kept doing stuff, but
Mhm.
I was never invited. So I was like, well, fuck me, right? All right, fine. Then later on, when I started putting videos out and people reaching out to me about they needed help, they started showing me what the assemblies are doing, and I'm like, well, this is why you're having problems. They're making you take your picture and go and do all this stuff as like an ID, and then go record it. They're like, now you're on the land. That's bullshit. You just, all those people. What you're doing when you do that stuff, and you take all that information and you go record it, right, at the county recorder, you've turned yourself into a public entity.
Mhm.
You can't do that. Like, and this is that's a big fallacy that the assemblies are doing. They don't want to hear it from me. I tell you, when I bring that up, they go, "Oh, you're wrong. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, man. Well, no, we've been doing this for years." And I'm like, "Yeah," and you get no fucking remedy. I'm
Wow.
not trying to be a jerk. It's just the truth of the matter. And like every time I run into this with people, this is what I see happening. And I think the assemblies would be great if they stopped doing those recordings. It would be much better if they stopped doing those recordings and stop having everyone record all their information to the public and making those ID cards, right? And you can
Mhm.
make ID cards, I guess, just to be part of the group, but you can't give those to cops. You can't give that to government agents, you know, or agencies. That's just something you shouldn't be doing, um, you know, in my opinion. But definitely do not record that stuff. Once
Okay.
you record it, you're putting yourself into the public. You know, that's a public arena. That's public information now, right? Were you trying to go private? Why would you put all your stuff on? It's real simple. I have a secret, and I tell everybody. Is it a secret anymore?
Right.
Yeah, but that's the idea. Is they go, you know, well, if you want to go into the private, put everything into a public notice, huh?
Mm.
And they don't. And I'm not trying to. I mean, I just got laid on them a little bit, but I don't. It's not like I dislike what they're doing. I just don't like that aspect, right? Um, I have the passport. The passport. Now the passport has a couple. There's a couple things with the passport. I can't really show it, you know.
Right.
Some of these, but I would show it otherwise. But they give you like restrictions. By the way, we're not on TikTok, so we're probably a little bit more free to say things here because I
Yeah,
didn't go
right.
on TikTok. TikTok will just ban like everything.
So
It's
you went in and did your passport and marked not citizen so that you could become. Now, does it say national on it? What does it say when you get it back?
it says here. I'll read you what mine says.
Okay.
Mine says notice the stamp on the back. Okay,
Uh-huh.
God, I can't stamps.
Is that a one
I just
cent
gotta show
stamp?
that part, but because the stamp. But let's see if I get a strike on YouTube for that. But it's just a stamp I'm showing people, YouTube, whatever. But you know, you put a stamp on the back. Well, that just shows that you're transporting and you've paid your taxes. So on here it says nationality USA. That's what it says. They will not alter those things. Hey Jake. Oh, Jake's muted now. Okay. All right. It says surname. Doesn't say legal name. It says surname, which is the last name. Given names, too, because there's a first and middle name, right? Um, but they treat it as one name. First name, middle name is the name. That's your name. Surname is not your name. Keep that in mind. Even the passport recognizes that. And then it says place of birth. Mine says New York because that's where I was born, New York. So they recognize I'm a New Yorker, right? That's my citizenship, right? That's my birthright citizenship is New York. That's my home country. I'm a New Yorker. There's 50 nationalities. Now, on here, on the face of it, there's nothing on here that's going to show anything that's going to indicate on the face end of this, other than the stamp, that there's something different about the passport. The only thing that's going to change is when they scan this, and I've had like officials actually run this passport. Mine particularly, by the way, people who've done this process the way I do it, it comes back saying they're a national. It does. So it does work. Mine, however, is a little different. All right. And what my records are sealed. So when they run the passport, it just shows nothing. And I had government agents tell me that. Okay. I did a background check for something recently, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get, because I got all these damn like felony charges and all this other crap. I'm like, man, all this stuff is gonna show up on there. It says 0 criminal history record, zero everything. I was like, oh, so I was like, that's interesting that nothing showed up on there because all the records are sealed. So I said, oh, that's interesting. So they sealed all the records there. And I'm sure it's because of the stuff I was doing in court is why they did it. So,
Well, I don't know. My passport says the same thing you just read off. Surname.
That's the front end. You got to realize something. The front end is not the back end.
I see.
The front, like I said, and I've said this for years, they will never indicate on the surface of the passport that there's anything different going on. They just won't do it. Because if my passport reads differently than yours, people are going to be like,
you're going to wonder why. Mm-hmm.
They're going to want, yeah, people go, hey, how'd you do that? What's going on with that? Well, hey, then people are going to know something's up. So they do that. That's why it's like when they run the passport and get the information off of it, that's when they start to find out, right? That's when they find out what's really going on. But like TSA and stuff like that, they run it and it just says take them off, don't search them. So then they just take me off the line. They have me go around without getting searched.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Some people it does. Some people it works with. Some people it doesn't. I don't really know. I don't know why that is, but the people who do the process the way I'm explaining how to do it, it just says on their thing that they're a national, not a U.S. citizen.
Mm. And is that what you use for ID for traveling in an automobile? I mean, is that like if you were pulled over, that's the ID that you give?
Yeah. The passport. But someone, hold on real quick. I bought the tax form comprehension on your Thrive link, but I didn't receive. Email me. I can't for some reason my computer's being weird, so I can't comment in the chat. But let me see if I can fix that. Let me see. Verify it's me. Well, that's the wrong account. But if you email me, I'll figure it out. Email. No, it's the other one. I got too many damn emails. Yeah. Okay. And now they want a verification code. Now I got see all this crap, man. I hate this stuff. Got to do the verification code. And now I'm getting a freaking. Oh, give me a break. These people drive me nuts sometimes. Yeah, I didn't get it. No code.
Can I say something, Joe?
Oh, shoot. They were calling for that. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So when you're doing your passport, it also helps if you send in with your passport an explanatory statement. I sent one in with mine, and when I got my card and my book back, they sent it back with my stuff. And then I turned around and I resent my explanatory statement with a handwritten note saying, this needs to be with my records. Thank you. And signed my name.
Oh,
And they never sent it back. So,
and what did your explanatory statement entail?
something along the lines of like, I am a sound living woman. I am basically claiming my nationality, that I am not a U.S. citizen. I am a national.
Wait, what did they do again?
So when I, in your passport course, you had us send in an explanatory statement with our passports. So when I sent mine in, when I got my card back and my book, they sent my explanatory statement back with all my things. So I turned around and I sent it back with a handwritten note saying that this needs to be with my records and my passport
Okay, good.
information.
All right, good. Yeah, they probably entered it in, but they've been sending that stuff back to people they're not supposed to.
Well, I sent it back and then they never sent it back. So
Well, good. That means they followed your instructions.
yeah.
Yeah, the government's getting kind of crazy because all the stuff is getting out there and people are just not backing down on this stuff anymore. Like like years ago, they could pull this on people and then people would just give up and walk away, but now with all the Epstein files and people don't
Mhm.
want to contribute to pedophiles and stuff like that. People are just not backing down as much. Plus, the fact is, like we got there's too much evidence. Like all the videos I make and other people make, like people who actually show the information, like this isn't bullshit. Like I even had cops tell me, "Well, you're out of control, man." Blah blah blah, and I'm like, "Well, what's it say right here?" And he goes, "Oh, well, okay, I didn't know that." Yeah, I know you didn't know that. That's the problem. This is why you do all that. You open your mouth, you say stupid ass shit, and then you try to argue with me and threaten me, right? Threaten my life, other people's lives over something you're just flat out wrong about and don't know anything about. And he's like, all right, all right, all right. Yeah, you're right.
Joe, can you write special deposit on that explanatory statement?
I mean, there's no point to it.
Well, I mean, special deposit. They shouldn't send it back to you. You've made a deposit. I mean,
I mean, you could.
put it in their custody.
Yeah, but she handled it. And I mean,
Okay.
yeah, you could put it on there. Fine. It's not going to
Yeah.
hurt.
All
But
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, special deposit is a deposit that means that you can only withdraw it once. Like if you withdraw it out, it stays in there, and you only pull it out, and then you have to pull out the exact one, right?
Yes.
Like if you went to
Yeah.
the bank and made a special deposit for like $100 bill, they have to give you that exact $100 bill back later. That's a special. I'm just letting everyone know what a special deposit is, but you can do that. I did that with something. You'll see that later on. If you're in Liberty Foundation, you'll see that later on in the martial law course. The special deposit is part of something process. Anyway, but yeah, thanks for putting that out there. That's not a bad suggestion, but we went through a lot of stuff pretty quickly, didn't we?
Are any of you guys in school in Joe's school foundation?
Yes, I am.
Okay, because I was gonna say a lot of what we're talking about are in the courses, like word for word.
Yeah, I mean, some of it. Yeah, I mean, I don't alter things too much. And that's one of the big things that This is what I'm into. Like once you find something that works and it's like it works validly this way, don't alter it. Right? When I did the coupon video, I showed everyone how to take the billing statement and turn it into a payment voucher, right? To make the payment, and it worked the way I was doing it. And I literally I put out the video, and on Facebook, I see people commenting, "Oh yeah, cool video, but I'm gonna do it this other way." And I'm like, if I'm showing you that this is the way that it works, why would you alter it? And then they come back later on going, "Hey, your thing didn't work." I'm like, "Yeah, but you already said you already said to everybody you were gonna do a different way because you thought my way was too simple." They're like, "Well, yeah, but I wanted to add the things to it because I thought it'd be better." And I'm like, yes, So the alteration, and people just have this strange compulsion to alter things, right? Everyone just has this, I gotta change it. I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna do it. I don't give a shit about the way. I just want to know which way is right, and then just do it the right way from there on out. If I'm doing it wrong, I have to change it till I get it right. But once I have it right, I go, this is it. This is how I do it. This is the right way to do it. You know, there's too many people. Um, Too many people just try to alter it way too much, and like in one of the courses specifically in school, um, I was talking about something I created, a document I created, and then I shared it with a couple of people. And then what happened was one of the guys took it and did all this alteration to it and used it in his court case, and it did absolutely nothing. Right? When everyone else used it as written, all their stuff got sealed right away. I was like, oh, see, he altered it because he's like, yeah, it was good, but it doesn't have all the stuff I want in it because I wanted to read this way. You know, I get that guy. I know. I'm not going to say who he is because a lot of people know who he is, but he wanted to do all these. Um, he wanted to do all these changes and stuff to it to make it suit whatever he was thinking, and it didn't work, of course, because he lost the principle behind what made that thing strong by doing all those alterations. So he fell off the track. He tried to go after something that it had nothing to do with. And he's a smart guy and he knows a lot of stuff, but he just has to be adamant about being right about certain things that he was just wrong about. Man, so that's my email. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, if you do the passport, there's a passport video on Rumble that shows you how to do it. Just add an explanatory statement, and you can put special deposit, like Rocky was saying. Which, the more I think about it, the better I like that idea.
In the school program, is that affidavit that the explanatory statement, is that in there or no?
There's one in there. I mean, you can make up anything. Let me see. Let me find one that I made, and then I'll just show everybody. Because really, I don't really care. You know, that's the thing. I'll show you guys this. You know, I know there's people like, oh, don't, you know, I don't care. Let's see. Let's go here. I want to get. What's this? No. No. What is this? I want to find one, but I want to find a good one that I can. Maybe I'll use this one, but I have to mark it up a little bit because there's like personal data in here, which I'm gonna do. Got to protect the privacy of others, right?
Right.
Oh, I think that's it. Okay. Fine. Here, I'll show you. Oh, no, wait. I got to change the title because the title has the name in it too. I'm glad I caught that. All right. Yeah, I'll show you guys. So this is like an explanatory statement that I like. This is based off of the one I wrote for myself. But here it's real simple. It says, I, being of sound mind, lawful age, do solemnly declare my intention to be and remain a national and not a citizen of the United States. The 14th Amendment of the Constitution states, Article 14, ratified in 1868, Section 1, all persons born and naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. This amendment does not state that all persons born and naturalized in the United States are subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Rather, it states that all persons born and naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. So it's two qualifying pieces right there, right? There's two qualifying pieces to that, which is you have to be born in the United States and you have to be subject to the jurisdiction. The people are not subject to the jurisdiction. Persons are. That says right here, all persons.
Mm-hmm.
We, the people, are not persons. No, we're not persons. So this amendment does not say, okay, so I'm a free man born on the land of, that's how I stated it, right? Born on the land of North Carolina, not the state of. I'm not restricted by the 14th Amendment, as I have no obligation to a 14th Amendment allegiance or sovereignty, and owe no obedience to anyone under the 14th Amendment. Right? I cannot make any claim of citizenship to the United States, but rather that I am a national. The United States being defined according to UCC 9-307, location debtor, location United States located in the District of Columbia. I was neither born or have ever resided in the United States. I'm therefore a non-resident alien to the citizenship of the 14th Amendment, according to 26 U.S. Code 7701B1B, non-resident. An individual is a non-resident alien if such individual is neither a citizen of the United States nor a resident of the United States within the meaning of subparagraph A.
Yay.
It handles the taxes too, right there in the same thing. All right. Further, I am not a resident of any state under the 14th Amendment. Hereby publicly disavow any contract, form, agreement, application, certificate, license, permit, or any other document that I or any other person would have signed expressly or by acquiescence that would bring me any privileges and thereby ascribe to me right and duties under a substantive system of law, other than that the Constitutional Contract of 1787 for the United States of America and for the Constitution for the several states of the Union. Yeah, I'm gonna mute you. So. But yeah, that's an important line there, because you're disavowing any contract. The United States government publishing office style manual lists each nationality in America by state, right? 5.23, and then you just go look up yours. That's my nationality by birth in North Carolina by domicile. By domicile, not by residency, by domicile, conferring the nationality of a state upon a person after birth by any means whatsoever. Okay, I've made the above determinations and this declaration under no duress, coercion, promise of reward or gain, or undue influence in any of my own free will, with no mental reservation, with no intent to evade any legal duty under the laws of the United States of America or any of the several states. You notice that it's lowercase united, lowercase states, okay? Because it's just talking about the states being united, right? I declare under penalty of perjury the laws of the United States of America, the foregoing is true and correct. That's without United States. That's it. That's your explanatory statement. Use that for the passport. You put that in. They have a hard time getting around that. If they try to come back with some crybaby crap like, "Hey, you're a citizen," say, "No, you don't get to tell me what I am and what I am not. You don't tell me who I have to swear allegiance to. You don't have that authority. Only I determine who I swear my allegiance to."
Now I have a question. Can you get that notarized and record that in your
No.
county? No.
Don't record.
Oh, again, public. Okay, got it.
Don't record that stuff. Yeah, these are the things. This is the thing that people. This is the big fallacy in the movement: is people record too many documents that should not be recorded. There are documents that should be recorded, like maybe a power of attorney, an assumed name certificate. Those things should be recorded because that's all public. That's all public business stuff.
Now, would you send that certified letter though, just to have? I mean, proof that it was sent in. I don't know how else to. How would you get proof that that was sent in?
You send a certified mail.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that's
And
I
Joe,
do.
that'll-
Send a certified mail. Hey.
That'll satisfy that Secretary of State, affidavit of status, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
And the passport. I mean, if you converted it into the explanatory statement.
Yeah, you just swap out affidavit for explanatory statement and put it in there. Haven't had any problems with that.
Okay.
And over the past couple days, I've had like an existential crisis because it finally clicked, the 14th Amendment. I had no idea. Like I heard it so many times how it's a diminished type of citizenship and finally it clicked, and I can't believe that it literally is giving you it's giving you privileges and immunities. It's granting you privileges and immunities that you now have a duty. It attaches all these duties for something that you're given by the state. It blew my mind. It's blown my mind. So
Right.
I put all these pieces together with your help, which I so appreciate, because it took a while. I mean, my skull is thick, but it had to go through a couple inches of to get there. But I finally made sense of it. And I've also been working on my wife's naturalized affidavit. And I, I asked you previously about that that oath that she took, and I, how would the language be different being born in Canada? Because that affidavit you just read was perfect.
Well, you take out the part that you say you were born on the land of the state, and then you say that you've
You were
naturalized.
naturalized. Yes. Okay. All right. So I got it. Thank you. That's awesome.
But you didn't naturalize in the United States. You naturalized in the
No.
state as a state citizen or national. So let's see. I got pulled over for private placard, and they gave me my +1 all the tickets, 9 citations. They tried to give me tickets the next day when I went to pick up the truck at Impound. I refused. All right, so that's a thing. How can I get better at writing letters to agencies?
Hang on real quick. I got to get on a train, so I got to go. But thank you guys very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So how can I get better at writing? Well, practice is how you get better at writing letters. If you're gonna do, I don't know if he's in the group Timotheus, but if he's if you're gonna, I don't know if you're in the school group or not, but if you're in the school group, I will have courses on that study stuff, right? Especially people who get bugged on study. That's something to help. I'm gonna create courses on how to fix that up, so that way you guys can study a lot better and learn what you need to look out for when you're studying. All right, let's see. Why does she keep coming in? What's going on with her here? She keeps coming in, and then she's out, then she's back in. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So that was a good turn, but I'm glad he pointed that out, because the 14th Amendment does give you rights. Like, I made a whole video on how the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th Amendment, these are all things that they follow in line with the Declaration of Independence through the Constitution, but instead of the people doing it, like with the Declaration of Independence and the Articles of Confederation and the Constitution, it's the government doing it for the people instead, for them. We're going to do this for you. We're going to make you free now. Now you're free because we made you free. Now we're going to make you a citizen, and then we're going to protect you against the state. That's allegiance right there. You bend the knee. Bend the knee for us because we did all these things for you. Now we're going to give you the right to vote. Now you can vote for us. Okay? Now you owe a duty. You got to pay us. You got to pay us money because we gave you these rights. You have a duty to pay us taxes. That's the 16th Amendment. And the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, and so on, all those amendments were created in order to basically overcome the power of the people by putting people into this diminuted status, right? Through the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment and the 16th, right? That was the plan, man, and they got it all locked up real good, right? Because, look, what did the people do in 1774? They said, we're not taking this guy's bullshit anymore. We're out. We're fighting. And they started fighting. And then 2 years later, they said, you know what? We're done with this guy completely. Let's cut him off. We're free. Fuck the king. Right? That's what they did. Right? And yeah, exactly. And then the king's like, kill them all. And, they're like, all right. Unless we get you first, right? So that's what they did, They fought back. They won. But what happened with the slavery here in the country, right, is it didn't go away. So the slaves are still slaves, like the way the colonists were slaves to the king, right? But now what they did was, instead of the slaves going, we're fighting for our freedom, the government just handed it to them. So here you go. Here's your freedom. You're free now. You got the Emancipation Proclamation, where the president. And it's not like those are necessarily bad things, but if it came from them themselves and pushing it to happen, it would have been different, because they would have been standing on the power of the people. But the government said, no, 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 you're free now. And then they said, now that you're free, you belong to us. You're our property now. Okay? Because we gave you that freedom. So, but we're going to protect you. We'll protect you. And that's the 14th Amendment. It's all about you're now protected by the federal government against the states. Right? The states are now have to sign and agree to the 14th Amendment, and they bend the knee to the federal government. This is all done under military powers. All right? All right, yeah. Oh, great. He's in there. So you could join on the Zoom link. I put the Zoom link in the school. You could just hop on. I put in the trust community and in the school group. So yeah, but great to hear. All right, so I think we covered the passport. The passport thing's not too bad. Now everyone's got the explanatory statement how to do that. So easy peasy, right? But you want to really you really want to understand this stuff, okay? And I've set up the school specifically to do, it's like a step-by-step learning process. So that way when you get to the higher courses, you already understand all the background information. It's really, really important to understand all the background information as you move up. I saw people, and the problem was I saw people skipping things and then trying to do, I want to do that course. Yeah, you want to do that course, but you got these other problems you got to handle first, right? And specifically, there was someone who came in and was just started on the wrong course altogether. I'm like, that's just kind of, that doesn't even make any sense. And then they're like talking about the problems that they're having over here. And I'm like, you got to do these courses, actually. Those courses right here are the things that are going to solve this problem that you're complaining about, right? And this is really, really important, right? What you got to do, like the way it's all structured in there is that the learning process actually dismantles their hold on you, okay, piece by piece, right? That's what it does. That's what it's supposed to do. It
Gives us an attitude adjustment, Joe.
Yeah, because I know some people, oh, I don't need that. You don't need it now, but wait until you run into a problem when you do need that information. But that's the backbone of everything. I put the backbone of the fraud up in the beginning, and then you just piece it together all the way through, right? It works much better that way. So yeah, I'm doing it because I want to make sure people really get the order of things properly. Okay, that's what it comes down to. All right, but it's all in sequence. Notice I'm starting to make like 1.2 courses and stuff like that, but. And I'll have to explain that a little bit, but hearts. Okay. So where else are we going with this today? What else are we going to talk about?
I'm really liking the rearrangement and the new intro video that you did.
Oh yeah, the 0.0 course.
Yes.
Okay, I'm glad. The 0.0 course. I'm gonna do them all like that, so that way it's better structured. You find out where you go. Some of the point courses, like point 1, point 2, they're not mandatory, right? So I'm gonna put an asterisk with them. If they're not mandatory, there's gonna be an asterisk, right? If they're mandatory, like you have to do this to do this course, then there's no asterisk. There's only an asterisk if it's not mandatory. Which I got to go update because I didn't do that. But see, it's all unraveling as I learn how to operate this website. So what else you guys want to talk about? We can hang out today. I'm not so mired down by the busyness of today. So we can hang out a little bit longer today.
You still got lots of snow? So traffic is minimal.
Yeah. Traffic is minimal.
So did we go to war supposedly with Iran last night?
I don't know. You see these fingers? You see this pulse? This is how far away I am from the pulse of society when it comes to all that stuff.
Well, a friend of mine that lives on the TV said 12:39 a.m. we went to war, and I'm like, I didn't go to war, so no involving me.
I got nothing to do with that. Yeah. I'm like, that's the first I'm hearing about it right now. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I don't concern myself with geopolitics anyway. I think most of it is BS. We shouldn't be involved at all. What I think we should do personally is we should kick the United Nations out of the country and just remove
Yes,
ourselves from
that
it.
right there. That right there.
Kick them out. I could go to the UN right now on this live. I could get to the UN right now because it's not that far from where I'm at. You know, I know exactly where the building is. I could go there right now. I'll be there in like 30 minutes. 30 minutes because of traffic. 30 minutes I'll be there at the UN. I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend that lives in New York, and he was saying that he was trying to put his car, his trusts, re-register it,
Yeah.
and he said that New York's changed their laws. That they're
You mean they won't let you put your car into a trust?
he was having a little difficulty with it. I don't know. He was he didn't give me all the details, but he had mentioned it.
That's because they suck. New Jersey does the same thing. You know, they're like, oh, if you put your car into a trust, the trustee's name has to be on the title. What's the point? There's no point to it then, right? Like,
They won't let us have anonymity.
That's right. They don't want that. They don't like that. So we're going to talk about that quietly in the trust community and in school. How to overcome that issue. But not in a public forum. And I think you understand why. We want to preserve these processes. Because once it gets out into the public forum, man, the wolves go at it. I tell you, half of the stuff I put up on Rumble, I see people selling as processes somewhere. All the time. Somebody was like, "Oh, you don't know shit, man. You got to find out about the motor vehicle theft protection program. That's your remedy." I'm like, this is like a week ago. Someone saying that to me. I was like, And before I even got the comment, the funniest thing was that someone commented, goes, he already knows about that. I love how someone was like, he already knows about that, because I unveiled it a few years ago. And finally, when I went and found the video where I talked about that whole thing, because I read the whole act, I just commented the link to the video. So here you go. I mean, I don't know anything. Like this is a bad thing. Like, no one should assume what someone does and does not know, because you never know what someone else knows, right? I'm sitting here with a group of people, and I know that probably most of you here want to learn something, right?
Yes.
But is it going to be from me, or is it going to be from someone else that's in the meeting or on YouTube watching this video? I could be learning something too. Why not? You know. There's nothing saying that I can't learn, right? There's no rule. So it doesn't, that's the point, is that anyone can learn, including me. I'm not above that.
So can I ask you something with the state
Yes.
revenue taxes?
Yeah.
Do you know of anyone who has, short of writing a check, performed on that obligation without like some sort of a tender or promissory note or stuff, anything?
Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah. Yeah, the first time I ever used a coupon was on state taxes, and it worked.
So you converted it into a coupon. Okay, so you're converting it into a coupon?
Yep. Yeah. The first time I ever used a coupon was on state taxes, and it worked. I said, "Oh boy, look at that!" Then I started doing it on other stuff. I started doing it on utilities. I did it on car insurance. I did all kinds of stuff, and I was like, "Oh man, this is working. This is awesome." I did it on hospital bills. I was doing it with the debt collectors. My credit score used to be like 300 or like three something, and I got it up to like six something just doing the coupons. It went up 300 points just from doing the coupons. I was like, all right. Then I made the video showing people how to do it. I was like, hey, I'm going to just show everyone how I do it because this is what's working.
I want to do that with my insurance, but they will not send you a bill. They have to take it directly out of your checking account.
Close your countdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, change insurance companies.
Yeah. Close
Well,
your
it's probably the
countdown and only
best
operate
insurance
out of trust.
company I've ever had, so I'd hate to do that.
Well, here's what you do. Open up a trust account, and then the trust pays you as the trustee in cash only, right? And you walk around with cash. You say, well, they can't take it out of the trust account because that's commingling funds. That'd be illegal.
Right.
So they can't do that. And you would only be operating as the trustee and not personally in that trust. So what are they going to do? They can't do jack shit now. Now they can't take it out of that account. And you say, well, why don't you just send me a bill? I'll satisfy the bill later. You know, I'll send you like a money order or something.
Well, I just switched banks, so I'm hoping to just tell them, hey, I don't have stuff set up. Just send me a bill, and then I'll do the coupon that way.
There you go. Yeah, yeah, you could do it like that. And then I'll send you a money order and just write money order on top of the coupon. Money order. We don't accept that form of payment. We need legal tender. I love when they say we need legal tender. And I go, you want a check, but you say you only take legal tender. A check is not legal tender. So explain your definition of legal tender, please. Right? It's a fraud. It's fraud. You know. But I love
So
those
all the
things.
elements. I interrupted. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say all the well, now I forgot what I was gonna say. So go ahead, say what you're gonna say.
I all the elements of that instrument are in your Rumble video, right? For the state tax.
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay.
That coupon, the way I
Same
do the
pro-
coupon is the same way for everything you're gonna do it on. Just don't do it on credit cards, right? Because they'll shut your credit card down.
Joe, I was thinking about the credit cards. Couldn't you send the 82, 81, basically do the whole process that you were
Can't talk about
teaching?
it on here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Can't talk about it. I talked about it on TikTok a long time ago, and then I started people seeing courses selling that shit, and it pissed me off because I'm like, I was giving that out to people for free, and now people over here selling my live TikTok, the data I shared on TikTok live with people, and they're selling it for money, right? And they don't even fucking understand it because someone sent me the course. They said, look, here's the course that they were doing based off of your information. And I listened to the whole thing. It was like 2 hours long. And all they did was say everything I talked about on TikTok like a month earlier. That's the whole thing. And then half the questions that people were asking in the course, they couldn't answer. And then when they did answer some of them, half of the answers were wrong. And I was like, see, this is the problem. You know, this is the problem that we're having, is that these people are so like, these are the wolves, man. They're out there to go just make money off of the information, and they don't even know what the fuck they're doing. And that's what pisses me off, is that they're just like, oh, Joe said this, let's go sell that information out there. Let's go sell this to people. Let's go make money off of that, right? They did that with the insurance bond. They did that with the whole thing with the 1099 stuff, right? They're selling all this data out to people. And I'm like, well, first of all, that process it's in school, by the way. So if you want to know what it is, you could just go and sign up to school, but I'm not going to elaborate on it too much out here. But there's when you do like any kind of negotiable instrument, there's certain tax forms that have to be filed with it. It's just how they do it. You're supposed to report that. especially with negotiable instruments. So there's not just one form, but there's several forms you fill out every time you do a negotiable instrument, and you're supposed to report that to the IRS as, hey, I transferred this instrument over to these people. It was valued at this amount, and then you have to lay out exactly what that instrument was and stuff like that. There's different forms for that. When you don't do that, you can't get credit as an issuer. And this is the other fallacy, is that all these people going around saying you're the creditor, and it's technically yes, that's correct, but the statutory system does not recognize that argument, right? But they will recognize the argument of you being the issuer, because the issuer is the one that created the promissory note, created the instrument, right? When you sign a check and you mail out a check right off of your bank account, you're the issuer, right? You issued that. Who issued the Federal Reserve notes? Well, the Federal Reserve, right? We got Federal Reserve note. We got Ben here, Benjamin, right? So this Federal Reserve note, it was issued by two parties. It has two parties signing on it, right? You have the Federal Reserve, and you have the U.S. Treasury. So they in conjunction issued this together before it went out to the public. But when you do the check, you do it in conjunction with the bank, right? With the check, right? It's the same thing. But you have to do that. Like when you create your own instrument, you got to show that you're the issuer. You sent this out, who you sent it to, and all the information behind it. The thing that upsets me is that like people would be selling this information and they don't actually even understand it themselves, and it's just upsetting because then no one ever gets remedy. And they didn't. And the thing that pissed me off about that particular class was that they didn't even know how to fill out one of the forms properly. I'm like, if they sat down and tried to figure out how to fill out the form properly and do all that stuff, right? I'd say, okay, fine, I'll let it slide. I won't be so upset about it because they actually sat down and did their work on it, but they didn't know it at all. And I said, well, that's just laziness, and that's one of the reasons why I'm like, one thing is this. I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent, by the way, but one of the issues that I have is the fact that they what do you call it? People go out, they'll take the data and just go sell it. I made the DOT videos. People went out and sold that information, right? It's on Rumble for free. Now, I know they changed this thing now, so if you get the DOT number, you have to show them an ID, right? So that's one of the problems I'm trying to overcome. So if somebody wants to meet up with me and work out how to do that, we'll figure it out. But yeah, until then, I don't know what we can do other than having to show that ID. Or we just fill out the MCS 150 form and mail it in and see if you just get the number that way. Just like from the original video. But people were selling that. People were selling all this information. I don't, they're like, oh, we're going to do, So that's one of the reasons why I don't like to talk about it publicly, because then they go, the people who are watching, who are just looking to get information that they can go sell, they're going to go sell it. And they don't know it. Like, that's the problem. Like, I could talk about the forms and how they work and stuff like that, but the issue is that we say it on here. Not only are you going to get the wolves out there that are going to eat it up and go sell it to people at they don't understand it themselves, but by putting it into a public forum, what it does is it puts like a flag on that process, and then what the IRS does is they stop honoring the process as written. So then you have to do more modifications to it. And that's the biggest thing that I've seen as the problem, is like the W4 sandwich, for example, stuff like that. But that was one of the big issues with sharing it publicly, is because of stuff like that. Then you talk about it on a public forum, the process is no longer valid. That's a big issue. And that's the other thing that people have to, like, there was someone who had this process to get back money by endorsing like the 1040 ES coupons, right? The vouchers. And so, if you do that, you'll get money. Now, I know people who were doing that process like 6-7 years ago, and it was working. But they went and did this thing and then they uploaded it to YouTube, and now nobody's getting anything back. And I go, yeah, that's because you guys took a private process and put it onto a public forum. You can't do that. That's why I stopped working. You know, and that's the thing. That's the mistake that all these people are making, and they don't understand the difference between public and private. That's why I was saying at the beginning, I said, like the status correction stuff, you don't record because it's private. So you got to keep it in the private. You don't make a public announcement and then put it into the public, because once you do that, now it becomes public property. You're going to take a picture of you, say I'm a man on the land, and go put it in a recording. So now you're public property. It's like silly. You can't do that. But it works for these. It's unfortunate because it is a violation of free speech, right? But it's a very underhanded way of violating your free speech, because they basically go, "Oh, you told everybody? Well, we're not going to honor it anymore." So now we could talk about it all day long, but it won't work anymore. That's the issue with that. Sorry, I went on a tangent there.
Joe, can I talk about UCC 35? Okay.
Yes.
I wanted to ask before I started saying anything. All right.
Yeah, but I mean, most things we could talk about, but when it gets into like doing certain processes, we're going to save that for like, the trust community or the Liberty Foundation, because we're in a private setting now, and over there.
Okay.
So.
Can I ask?
Well, let her ask a question, then you can go.
Oh, I didn't realize. I thought you. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm done. I asked my question.
Oh, you mean
Okay.
that was it? Can we talk about UCC3 stuff?
Yeah, that was it. Before I started saying anything, I wanted to ask that question. You said no. So, okay.
I said yeah. No, I was going like I do this. I mess with all my guitar students. Like, can I go to the bathroom? I go yes. All the time. I just mess with them like that, or I go. No.
Oh, okay.
Right. It's just messing around.
Okay, so I ran into a problem when I was filing a UCC3 when I was trying to upload the my forms, and it just kept having the loading circle. None of my stuff loaded because I guess the file's too big. So do I have to file a UCC3 and then file another one as a continuing one? So they could have my full, all my forms together on there? Like, how do I? Because it will not take my full file. It's too big.
Yeah, but you just have to do 2 different filings then.
Okay. I just want to double check.
You have to spend more money. See, the
Yep.
UCC3, I will tell you why we could talk about it on here. Because it is public. It's
Yep.
a public notice. So we could talk about it on here. Because anyone could go look up a UCC filing. Right? That's why there's certain things on a UCC that you don't put on there. Like when you're doing the secured party process, there's certain things you don't upload into the UCC 1 or 3. And that's because those things are private. All right. And you use the registered mail numbers to show those contracts rather than putting them up on there. Or certain documents will have a registered mail number attached to them rather than putting all that info on there.
All right.
I know it's heavy duty. By the way, I'm gonna do the classes for the secured party in school, so they're gonna go up eventually, but I'm gonna break it down to small little increments so that way it's digestible for people to understand, and it's gonna be I'm gonna have a couple of prerequisites before people can do the secured party course.
It's a lot, man. My mom and I, we were like beating our heads against the wall. It's so much, so many mistakes were made, and then having to redo it like half a dozen times. But we finally got it, and it was a good learning process. But to get to where we were, it was just a lot of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's that's why I don't like teaching it, because it's so hard, so difficult. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break it down. It's probably gonna be like 30 segments in school, because I'm gonna make a real short little videos with short little things to understand piece by piece, right? Some of it's already on Rumble. I think about it. I have like a couple of short videos on Rumble already that would be part of that that education, but I will make videos just for school, just for that process. All right, and then of course, by the way, in school, so everyone knows, we're going to start, because of all the different courses and stuff. We're going to start have weekly meetings for the different courses. All right, I just have to kind of start figuring out when I can do that, what times I'm going to have, and we'll have a weekly meeting. Like if you're on like the discharge debt course, we're going to meet every Tuesdays at 7 p.m. or whatever the thing is. So then we just meet at that time. And every week, if you're on that course or if you've already done it, you can be part of that meeting. And we're going to do that every week for every course. It's going to be, so there's go. I'm going to be very busy, but I can never stop. I'm one of those guys who can't stop.
Will you
Yeah.
still have the weekly meeting, the random? Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I want to have the weekly meetings. We'll probably, I have to set a time for it. Like we'll do it always on this day at this time, and that'll be the weekly meeting for everyone to join. Then we'll have the individual meetings, and I'll probably hold like a study hour or a couple. Like I'll do like a 2.5 hour study meeting where everyone comes in. They can just do their studies, but then like all the essays and assignments that they're doing, they can go over them with me. Like, okay, let's go over here. So we'll be live in school where people are just kind of going over stuff what they're reading, and then someone says, "Hey Joe, can you check me out on this?" And then we'll hop over to a Zoom meeting, and then the Zoom meeting will go over your questions, essays. But if they're really good and you want to show them, we go back into the school group and when we just show your answers and stuff like that to the whole group, and everyone, so everyone gets something out of it. That'll be the plan for that.
Are you going to combine the trust community with school?
I can't do that. They're too different. The trust community is not mine. That belongs to Bree.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
Joe, about school, you got so many great courses on there, and I have a question about. A lot of us have kids, but we want to get them started off on the right foot. Which one of those modules would apply to children? And furthermore, did you ever think about creating like a course for kids, whether it's education or even some things they can do when they're turning 18, things like that?
yeah, the grammar course that I'm going to do is going to be geared towards children. Um, so it's going to go over all the different components of grammar: nouns, verbs, adverbs, pronouns, right? Capitalization, all the different symbols like ampersand and hyphens and dashes and colons and semicolons and parts of speech and stuff like that. So that way they become literate, and they can go over those courses again and again and again. And I would urge some adults to do it as well. But it's going to be geared towards kids. It's going to be part of the zero courses. So it's going to be like 0.1, 0.2 for all the grammar stuff. Because once you can read, I mean, the world's at your fingertips, The problem what most people have today is that they can't read well, right? Or they don't understand the symbols, like quotation marks. Like quotation marks can mean to show that the word is being used as a word and not in the meaning of the sentence, right? But it could also show that someone is talking, what someone said. And people don't understand all those things. And italics can actually do the same thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about too, like maybe like when to get an EIN, those kind of things for kids. Maybe whether it's to get to set up an LLC, those kind of things for kids.
Yeah, but I'm also going to do like a 2.1 course where we talk about the status for children and go into that a little bit as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
But also in the assumed name course, right? What's going to come up in there is how to dissolve other contracts through the assumed name. All right, because there's a lot of information in that course, but I might utilize some of the stuff from that course in another course to show you how to use that information to dissolve other types of contracts. So I might do like a 4.1, and then it'll go through dissolving contracts, like the marriage certificate, right? The driver's license, right? The birth certificate, all that other stuff. How we dissolve those things right? The certificate of title for the car and stuff like that. How all those things get dissolved by utilizing that for course, right? The assumed name course.
Wow.
But yeah, Denali, that's a good point. Like, that's the thing. Everyone made those mistakes about the public versus private. And I understand the desire to help people. And like, it's there. It's totally valid. I would share everything. But when I started realizing that when you put certain things into the public that they stop honoring it, that's when I was like, oh shit, we got to stop doing that. You can show people the data and stuff like that. You can show people these things, show people the data, show them the information, show them the court cases, get people to wake up. But when you sit down and show people a process step by step on a public forum, you're slitting everyone's throat on that. That's the thing that they don't like. That's the thing. Once you start taking all those dots and connecting them publicly, they go, oh, we got you. Stop it, right?
Shut it down. Shut it down. Yep.
Yeah. So share all the information you're learning, share that freely. But when it comes down to the processes themselves, let people figure it out, And anyone who's in the school will tell you right now, if you go into the school and do the courses, you realize that this is all stuff I shared on Rumble already, for the most part, right? There's a couple videos that are made just on school, just to kind of like, to do that part, right? To take the dots and just connect them, right? But for the most part, most of it's on there. It's just no dots are connected. But I've seen people in the comments on Rumble, and this is why I love you guys. This is why I love people, because I see people go, hey, wait a second. You said this in this video, and you're saying this in this video. What if you did this? And I'm like, oh, he figured it out. You see, this is why I love people so much, man. This is why I love people, because when they connect the dots, man, that's when you have power. That's your power, your knowledge, and connecting these things together. Beautiful, right? Yeah. So that's his book. Yeah, you're talking about this one, right? This book, right? Yeah, he sent me one. I got to read it, right? Called me Dr. Lust in the book. Oh man, this is great. I read this training manual. This is about the training manual. I read it. The training manual. It's a fantastic piece of work. Actually, if you guys want to read it right now, we'll pull it up on live and we'll go over it if you want.
Sounds good.
Because I have it. He's like, did you ever read that? I'm like, oh, hell yeah, man. That thing tells you everything. Where is it? Come on, where are you? I got it somewhere. This is training manual. Let me see if I was spelling it wrong. TM 2000-25. Come on. I got it somewhere. I got it somewhere.
I have been enjoying reading the Mastery Courtroom class book that I bought off of Kindle.
Oh, you got it on Kindle. Oh, nice. Yeah. So that guy wrote a great book, which we're utilizing this book written by this guy for the Courtroom Mastery course, right? Which gives no legal advice.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, it's a really good book. I would urge people to get that book if they want to see what she's talking about. Let me see if I can find it. Courtroom Mastery.
The other day when I noticed that internet had been off, I guess it was yesterday, internet had been off all day and we had no cell service. So when I got on last night, when the service got restored, I was able to see the 0.0 and watched it. And then I realized that you had added some new stuff to the classwork. So I went through to the chapters of the classwork I hadn't done, and I got several of those caught up. So I'm excited about all the new changes you're making. Congratulations on 191 members, or 100.
Oh my goodness. I still can't believe that. That's like one of the craziest things. So,
196 members.
yeah. All right. So that's the book that she's referring to. That's the Courtroom Mastery book, which we're utilizing in our during this course. It's a great book based on common law and utilizing your standing as a free man or woman rather than where is it? I don't know where it is.
Did you drop it in the Zoom chat also, Joe?
No, yeah, I'll do that real quick, but I can't find it now. I'm trying to pull it up for everybody, but I can't find it.
Well, I see it on YouTube.
Yeah, I dropped. No, I'm talking about I was gonna pull up the website. Let me try again. Do over. There we go. Now it comes up. Yeah, this is the book, Courtroom Mastery, using common law principles to win any court case. All right, and it was written by this guy here. All right. Does the United States have a fair and impartial justice system? Why is it that most Americans need to hire an attorney in order to handle a simple court case? Is there any way for the common American man or woman to be able to handle themselves in a courtroom without having to go to an expensive college in order to handle their simple court affairs? This book offers education, entertainment, regarding the American court system. This is a good book for anybody who's interested in sovereignty. This book explores many different aspects of the courts and legal system and how one would utilize the legal system in their favor. Due process is a right that all Americans have, yet only a few seem to understand it. This book is here to fix that problem. I guess that was spelled wrong or something, but yeah, that's what that book is for. That's the author. And he's got 2 books, 14th Amendment and then this Courtroom Mastery. So those are the books. Let's move this back over to here. Okay. Link gave you an error. I don't know what to do about that. I guess just type in Courtroom Mastery and then just type in Jacob and it'll come up, I guess. But yeah, I can't figure out why that is. All right, this is the Army Training Manual. This is 1928 Army Training Manual, and this is in regards to citizenship. All right, this is powerful. This is how the government views citizenship. Okay, and then Brandon redid this to modernize it. That's what his book is about. All right. Under the National Defense Act, as amended in 1920, the War Department, among its many other duties, is charged with the task of recruiting and training the young men of our nation through enlistments in the regular Army, voluntary enlistment in the Reserve Officers Training Corps of high schools, colleges, universities, and in 30-day training programs, citizens, military training camps throughout the 9 corps areas of the United States. Right? The combined average yearly strength of these various units approximates some 260,000 young men between the ages of 16 and 25, the most critical period in the determination of their real value as citizens of our country. Wow. Okay. All right. Now, yeah, let's keep going here, right? All right. So now, yeah. Oh, someone already has it. I recognize that. Email. Okay. It is therefore essential that the training of these young men, embodied with their instruction in military science, at least basic course, in the science of government and privileges, duties, and responsibilities of the individual citizen, in order that they may be returned to civilian life better equipped as the defenders of the institutions of our government in time of peace as well as time of war. Training in citizenship is the most vital of all subjects to the nation whose system of government, security, or of property and full power to express individual initiation or initiative are based upon the intelligence, education, character of each individual citizen. They don't say that today, do they? You just type it on Google. You can find it. Take 2 minutes. Just type in TM 2500-25, or put in Army Training Manual. 2500-25, and you'll find it. All right, individual initiative. Individual initiative is the product of slow progress in the development of the idea and ideals of self-government. It was cherished in the minds of the early Germanic tribes, transmitted by them in the 5th century to the conquered British Isles. There developed and finally transferred in principle to the shores of America 300 years ago. Right? Now, my family's from Germany. I'll tell you, this is why I am the way I am today. Like, nobody tells me what to do. Right? That's definitely a German thing, for sure, because that's how I'm like that. All right, from landing of the first settlers through the slow and perilous years, right, of the colonial development and struggles of the revolutionary days, the hardships and privations following the adoption of our Constitution, the winning of the Great West, the fight to save our Union, and the tremendous accomplishments in the development of agricultural and industrial resources, individual initiative, coupled with community cooperation, have been the determining factor, a spur to our achievements and a guarantee to our national security. The protest of the colonies against usurpation of the rights of citizens and the Declaration of Independence, the Revolutionary War, and writing and adoption of the Constitution of the United States, and the ever-increasing development in population, industry, wealth, and security, denoting the achievements of the United States, would have not been possible lacking the spirit of individual initiative and the talent for self-government. The United States worked out its own destiny by the simple process of hard labor, inspired with the knowledge of full opportunity in the exercise of individual ability and sure reward and protection in possession of the fruits of their labor. Now, this is interesting. This whole thing is geared on the principle that the individual initiative, the individual, is where all his strength and power comes from, right? It's like, yes, we did this together, but without the individual, we are nothing. Right? Foundation of citizenship. In any instruction in citizenship productive of lasting results, there must be woven into the study of the story of the faith, sacrifice, service, and achievements of the pioneers of America, from the landing of the Pilgrims to the settlement of the Great West and the development of our vast national resources. The story, pregnant with hope, faith, courage, and the will to work, is the rock foundation upon which to build the structure of citizenship in the youth of today, that the future may be assured in perpetuity of the institutions, principles, ideals, and traditions, the development of which has made the United States great among the nations of the world. See, you gotta realize, like, when these older like soldiers and stuff like that, they were reading these books. Why do you think those guys were so patriotic, right? Like, look at this. This makes you want to fight for your country, doesn't it? You're like, yeah, I want to fight for my country. We're doing it, but not the way the current pedo government wants us to, right? We're fighting for our country. Hey. Ich bin durch. Oh, look at that. I know German. Oh, I am German. The study of the census reports of the United States, particularly during the past 50 years, reveals a condition that to every thinking man and woman is fraught with grave danger to the continuation and maintenance of our constitutional form of government and the blessings of liberty which we enjoy. We must be prepared to recognize the situation and find the solution of the problem. Yeah, the educational system's destroyed everything, man. Social phase of citizenship. As the result of the changing life stream of America, there has risen one of the greatest problems of our national life. Up to 30 years ago, approximately 90% of all immigrants to America were of Anglo-Saxon origin. That race of people that have been working out the problem of self-government for nearly 2,000 years. Due to the remarkable impetus given to the industrial development following 1890, opportunity for the employment was offered and every inducement made to secure the immigration of European common labor, resulting in an immediate change in the type of immigration to America, by which Central, Eastern, and Southern Europe increased their totals by over 50 times in the 50 years from 1870 to 1920. The history of nations from which this later immigration originated is that the large cultural advantages in art, literature, and science enjoyed by the ruling and favored minority, while oppression, privation, and suffering were endured by the great majority of their subjects. This latter class, what happened here? Oh, there we go. This latter class, without knowledge of self-government, denied the opportunity for self-development, eagerly responding to the call of American opportunity, immigrated to our shores, here to enjoy full participation in the rights of American citizenship, without a proper understanding of the meaning of liberty, or the nature and value of our free institutions, the very foundation of which is laid in intelligent and active participation in government by our individual citizens. A course of instruction in citizenship, to be effective, must develop the social phase of citizenship and be particularly directed to the native and foreign-born youth, setting up a clear understanding of this great problem of assimilation and amalgamation of the bloods of all nations into this virile life stream of America. Okay. So they're saying, we are the melting pot, right? This is it. This is where everyone gets together. And our country recognizes that. You know, that's the thing. That's one of the big things about it, is that they recognize that. You know, even back then. They see the problem is more so the fact that there are people coming from other parts of the world that do not have this self-governance built into them from you know, hundreds of thousands of years of culture, right? Like what I was saying was like the culture of like Germany, like where my family's from, it's all about, like I'm telling you, I was 18. I was actually emancipated when I was 16, believe it or not, but 18 years old, they were like, yeah, you're on your own. That's it. You take care of yourself. That's how my family was about it, everything. But that's how they think, you know, that's how it is there. All right. Economic phase of citizenship. The industrial achievement of America have become the marvel of the world. Therefore, the economic phase of citizenship must be developed with careful study and with all the wisdom we possess, that we may assure continued progress to the welfare, tranquility, and enrichment of our own citizens, and at the same time steer a safe course for our ship of state in the maelstrom of world envy engendered by a knowledge of our wealth and power. In the accomplishment of our industrial achievements, the United States has reinvested its profits in the developing of horsepower, automatic machinery, labor-saving devices, transportation, communication, organization, administration, and since the World War, because back then there was only one, has given further impetus to its accomplishments by sharing more and more of the fruit of her industries with the wage-earning class. And in the progress thus made, the demand for brains to replace brawn has been an ever-increasing factor in the production of our goods as to quantity and quality in order to maintain our sense of well-being, high standards of living, and to meet the competition of the world at large. A course of instruction in citizenship must emphasize the necessity of the education of our masses as an economic measure in supplying the great need of modern industry.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. We can hear you. I'm going to mute him because he doesn't realize he was unmuted. All right. So, yeah, Ron Paul. See, Ron Paul he's like one of the guys, he would be supporting us if he knew what we were doing. He would love what we're doing here. You know? That guy, I know he ran as a Republican, but he's not a Republican. He's a libertarian by heart. You know? That guy is probably the only guy that I think in the last like 50 years that ran for president that I think would actually have been the right choice for president. You know, that guy would have like cut everything out. He'd be like, yeah, we're going to get rid of that. Yeah, we're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of the Federal. He wanted to get rid of the Federal Reserve. You know that man's not getting elected once he says, we should get rid of the Federal Reserve. We don't need those jokers. That guy was great. The only right choice for president was him. They attacked him so hard, too. They went after him. Anyway, the philosophy of American government. Yeah, that's right. He knew he wouldn't win otherwise. All right, the philosophy of American government, as set up under our Constitution, finds its keynote in individualism, as opposed to that misguided philosophy of government collectivism, which makes the states paramount in its demands over the inalienable rights of its individual citizens. This is everything I'm talking about all the time, right? Our government, and this is the army is telling you that, yeah, they're like, Joe, you're right. You people, everyone at home listening, you guys are right. This is the truth. The truth is this, right? The individual is truly the only one protected. And your rights are the things that we, you know, it's your rights, your power. This is it, right? It's not this other crap that they say. It's not about us, you know, like, oh, let's do this collectivism thing. No, our government is based off of a republic, which is individual men and women. They self-govern. This is self-governance. Incomprehensible as it may seem, the political problems of America and of the world at large are embodied in this question of individualism as opposed to collectivism as the philosophy of government for the future of development and welfare of nations. Now, there is a thing where, like, look, you got a group, you got to take care of your group, right? But what they're doing is they're forcing you to give allegiance to this group that maybe you don't want to give allegiance to, right? We are dealing with a de facto. Thank you. This is why we are dealing with a de facto government. Okay. And, I mean, there's a lot of evidence to that. I think we've talked about this many times, you know, the de facto government. And, but it's really important to understand this de facto government, right? The de facto government was created to perpetuate and facilitate nefarious goals, okay? Such as the fiat currency system is the ultimate way to supply infinite amounts of money, right? That's how they do it, right? I mean, the love of money is their downfall, right? The desire to escape accountability or responsibility to the sovereign people, right, by their elected representatives, right? This is we're talking about turning citizens into government statutory employees, right? I covered that in that Social Security scheme video on Rumble. But what they're doing is they flip the proper constitutional relationship completely upside down. This desire to escape accountability, right? You know, is this is the thing that sin is born out of, right? This is, you know, sin is born out of that concept, right? How do I get out of accountability? 11th Amendment. 11th Amendment is one of those things where they said, shit, we're accountable, aren't we? So the Chisholm versus Georgia case, they said, we're accountable, right? They treat themselves as they have this superior or almost supernatural power above the average natural human, right? And it's like this, like, you have to worship us. We are your gods. Do what we say. Our word is the only thing that matters. This is pure evil, right? That's what these guys are. They're just pure evil. That you know, and this is what we're fighting. That's the de facto stuff, right? That's all de facto crap. Yeah. So anyway, let's emphasis must be laid upon the benefits and advantages accruing to each individual citizen of our country under the form of government set up as the supreme law of the land in the Constitution of the United States of America. Right? Now, there's whole things on citizenship, but right? All right, so the general purpose, this course in citizenship is designed to teach the fundamental principles upon which our government is founded, including an insight into the social and economic elements upon which our civilization stands. Right. Special emphasis is laid upon the meaning of liberty, as interpreted by the founders of this republic, and the larger relationship of the individual citizen to others and to his government, defining loyalty and national responsibility in terms of citizenship, recognizing that an intelligent and informed people is a greater asset than are the unintelligent, uninformed, or misinformed, and that no government can exist upon a plane higher than the moral character of its people. This right here, this is another fantastic point that this thing is making. Here they want the Americans to be educated. Here they want the Americans to have knowledge, be devoid of misinformation, be devoid of being uninformed. They want all that out of people because they want people to know, have the knowledge, be informed. What do you see happening today on TikTok, YouTube, and these other social media when people share this information? Don't listen to him. Don't talk to him. Oh, no, don't. Oh, he's wrong. Oh, he doesn't know how to read the laws. He's misinterpreting everything. What are they doing? They're trying to keep people unintelligent. They want people to stay uninformed or to be misinformed. They're doing exact opposite of the purpose of this manual, which was made on the idea that we should all know our rights, we should all know the truth, and we should be properly informed of the facts. Right? Complete ignorance. Right? Oh, yeah, thank you about that, the 11th Amendment one, yeah. If we get rid of that 11th Amendment, I'm telling you, if we got rid of that 11th Amendment, oh man, what's going to happen? The stuff that would happen if we got rid of the 11th Amendment. Right? I'm telling you, man, like you'd be like, holy crap, this is what's going on. Right? It would just be that. It would be fantastic. Because we got rid of the 11th Amendment, you could sue the state every day of the week. Every day of the week, you'd be suing them they would freaking go mad. You know what would happen if we got rid of the 11th Amendment? I'll tell you guys what would happen. There would be lawsuits up the wazoo. It would overrun the federal courts, and they would just start putting injunctions on the states. They go, you guys better just stop doing this because you got 20,000 lawsuits on the same crap. Just the Supreme Court would put an injunction across the nation on all kinds of stuff, traffic cases, right? The seizure of property for not paying property taxes. It would go insane, and I love that. I'm like, my dream is to see the 11th Amendment repealed, so that way people could just go off the wall, crazy, suing the shit out of the states. Right? Cops stop me without probable cause, right? Because they make up stupid shit. All right. Well, that's a lawsuit on the cop. It's a lawsuit on the city. It's a lawsuit on the state. And then the cop goes, oh, but I have sovereign immunity. No, you don't have any immunity anymore, motherfucker, because the 11th Amendment's gone. That was the thing that was protecting your ass, and that's why you were able to violate people's rights. Now you can't do it anymore. Right? The Founding Fathers did not put that 11th Amendment into the Constitution because they wanted, right? They wanted the people to be able to have recourse against the states. And what did they do the second someone actually got recourse against the states? They fucking stopped it. The Chisholm versus Georgia. I'm going to do a video on that, the Chisholm versus Georgia case, because that case is huge. It's powerful. And it is the reason why they made the 11th Amendment. One court case. And that was a worldwide event, by the way. That Chisholm versus Georgia, nothing like that ever happened in the history of our planet before. Never in the history of our planet was a sovereign government sued by one man and then won against and beat the sovereign government. That never happened before. It was such an unnerving, rattling thing for the people in Congress that they put the 11th Amendment up right away.
What's the proper spelling on that court case, Joe?
Chisholm, it's CHIS, I don't know.
Well, I spelled it CHISOM versus Georgia, but what year again?
It's 1793, I think, 1791, maybe 1791, 1793, somewhere around there. 1700s for sure, 1790s.
It's probably OLM.
LOM, Chisholm versus
Chisholm, yeah.
Georgia. Yeah, no, that's it. CHISLOM v. Georgia, 1791, I think. But yeah, I'm gonna make a video on that one.
Hey, Joe.
That's right, Denali. They don't know the law. Yeah.
Hey, Joe, this is Nancy Orr in Virginia. Now, isn't it the case that as state citizens, as nationals, we can hold the individual officers personally liable when they exceed their delegated authority? Isn't that a way we can seek remedy? Or I hear what you're saying about the 11th Amendment, but can we, hold, the individual officers when they exceed their authority, delegated authority? Do we not have the power to
Yes.
do that? Okay.
Yeah, we do. We do. But it is limited. The 11th Amendment just gave us this little squeaky line that we can ride on, which is the 1983 case. And that's about as far as we can go right now. But if we got rid of that 11th Amendment, you could sue them on everything. I mean, it's like it opens up the floodgates. But yes, even right now, if they go above their delegated authority, you can sue them. But I would sue them in federal court because the state will protect their law enforcement because that's their revenue generators.
Right.
And they'll excuse everything they can. There's so many justifications. You got people on YouTube and stuff like that showing people. They go, look how they show all these like court cases with these guys like where the judges are yelling at the defendant on shut up, don't talk anymore, you're wrong, I don't recognize your arguments. And all he's really doing is just being, he's just violating people's rights, but and then they use that as evidence that the courts don't recognize these arguments. But the courts they're just being unethical. They're being immoral. They know that they're doing the wrong thing. If you're doing the right thing and you know you're doing the right thing, you don't get nasty and angry with people. That's what a key thing is. Like, that doesn't happen. Like, if your kids are being bad, right? Maybe you yell at them to get their attention, to get them to stop, right? But you're not really angry at them unless they did something like they broke something of yours, But if you're trying to get them to just behave correctly and do the right thing, and they're arguing with you about it, you're not going to get mad, right? Not really mad. Like there's no anger because you're making them do the right thing. But when you start screaming at people and yelling at them, right, because they're doing something you don't like, it's more the fact that you're stopping them from doing something, or there's something that you're doing that they don't like, or that you don't like, or that you don't agree with, but you know that what you're doing to stop them is wrong. That's what these guys are doing. It's showing that they have hidden intentions, criminal intentions. They have crimes. I mean, look, they just got a federal judge. Now he's sitting in jail because of some the kitty crap, the pedo stuff. But I'm like, there's way more than that. I'm telling you, there's so many. And I was like, I saw the post. I said, there's a lot more judges that are criminal than you think. All right. So, yeah. But that's all because they're operating off of this de facto government. They're using these franchises to abuse the people. Okay. Let's go back to our thing. Where is it? I clicked it off.
Joe, can I ask you the First Amendment? It says Congress shall make no law. It's kind of the only amendment that specifies that Congress, the others are
Congress
the
shall
right of
make
the
no law.
people. So do you have any opinion on that? Why it's so restrictive to who?
Well, because no one else writes the laws, just Congress. Presidents can't write laws. The judiciary can't write laws, right? I mean, we could go over how they make laws, like how the judge makes law, right? And this has been one of the big downfalls. But realize that it's really just becomes part of the common law. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the one of the things is that they do this whole thing where they judge made rules or judge made law it violates the Constitution, right? And they get away with it. And they've gotten away with it so much that they go, oh, it's normal. They can do all that. And that's where like these like TikTok, like the lawyers on TikTok and YouTube, they make all those videos of sovereign citizen fails. And they just laugh at people trying to stand against like these tyrannical judges, right? And they go, oh, look at this guy. Look how stupid he is. Oh, he's so dumb. Oh, he's so... Like, how come they don't turn around and go, you know what I'm going to do? Let's do this. We're going to find one of those sovereign citizen fail videos. And what we're going to do is we're going to critique the judges. Let's do that. Let's see how they feel about that shit. Say, hey, look how this judge is a piece of shit. Let's look at all the ways the judge is an asshole and all the things that he's doing to continue being a dick, right? Because look, I know that the courts have rules and they want you to follow their rules in order to. You can get due process if you follow the rules, but they don't. But that's why it says Congress can't, because there's no law. See, Congress allowed the president to start making laws. All these executive orders and stuff like that are considered laws, right? But it's not. It's not law, you know, like it's not. And then the judges, they allow the judges to make rulings and then they just go with it. Well, you know, like the cops stop you and they go, well, Terry v. Ohio says we can stop you because of blah, blah, blah. That's not a fucking law, dude. That's not a law. So let's do that. Let's get some people together. What we'll do is all right, so some people like that idea. Why don't we do this? Someone find some of those sovereign citizen fail videos and we'll pull them up and we'll go through them and critique the judges. And we'll call it Tyrannical Judge Watch. Watching the judges. And what we'll do is we'll juxtapose it, like we'll put it up against the court rules and see what the court rules in that state actually say versus what the judges are doing. And we'll put it up against the model code of judicial conduct and see if the judges are actually following their own model code of conduct. And if they're not, then we could call them out on that. Because what the lawyers on YouTube do when they make those, they just laugh. Oh, he's so stupid. Listen to this guy. They offer nothing of substance. I've watched these videos and I'm like, they clip them out and stuff like that. I called out one of the dudes so hard, right, that he just kept, all he would say is, shut up, Joe. Shut up, Joe. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to shut up. Like, you can't get me to shut up. Yeah, right, exactly. Shall not be infringed. But that's the Second Amendment. That means nobody, not just Congress, not the executive, not the judicial, they can all go fuck themselves. Shall not be infringed means nobody's touching this, nobody's doing anything to this. And then they come up with all these reasonable reasons why it was okay to do light infringements. And, you know, hey, you know, you put a cloth over my hand, that's not heavy. But you take another cloth and put it on top of my hand, it's still not heavy, right? But if you continuously pack a cloth over my hand, after a while, it's going to get heavy and I'm going to have a hard time lifting my hand up, right? That is what they did with the Second Amendment. And so, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make this one little restriction for this thing over here. We're going to make an exception to that. So for this thing, we have to do this first. Okay. All right, now that we got that going, by the way, we're going to have to we're going to extend that out to these types of guns as well now. So we're going to do this stuff. And that's how they just start layering it. And after like 100-something years, this cloth is so heavy you can't lift it up. And people are like, what do you mean I don't have a Second Amendment right? Oh, you have it, but you have to do this and then you have to do that. You're going to have to do these things. You have to make sure you get these classes. You have to pay for this thing. You have to pay for that thing. And then once you do all those things, then you can exercise your Second Amendment right. Oh, okay. It's a joke. we have to refer to them as constables or peacekeepers, and then they won't have to follow the verbal. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. You could do that. Yeah, constitutional carry state. There you go. See, that's the sad thing, is that he's like, I live in a constitutional carry state, and I go, why aren't they all constitutional carry states? So it tells you the fact that it's called a constitutional carry state tells you that the other states that are not constitutional carry are unconstitutional states, right? You know, like we could do mock trials. We might do that actually in the courtroom mastery course on school. We will probably do mock trials as part of our meetings. We'll do mock trials. So if you're not in the school group and you want to do stuff like that, that's where we will have that. I'll share the link over here on YouTube. But I think that would be a great idea. We'll do the mock trials. We'll have that over in there. But yeah, so what state do you live in? I live in an unconstitutional carry state. What does that mean? It means I have to get a permit in order to get a gun. New Jersey, it's real bad. First, you have to get fingerprinted. Then you need to get an ID card just for your fucking fingerprints. For your fucking fingerprints, you need an ID just for the fingerprints. Then you have to go apply for a permit. Then you have to ask the cops for the permit. Then they do a background check on you. And if they feel that your life is in danger, so that way you can that way you need a gun, they will issue you a permit for each handgun you buy. So you can't just get handguns. You have to buy one at a time, and you have to get a permit for each one. Only if they deem that it's necessary that you need one. So you have to go to the cops and say, cops, can I have a gun? And they just go, no, I don't think you need one. I got a gun. You're fine.
Time for a courtesy check.
What? Courtesy check? He's unmute. I'm gonna mute him, but what did he say here? What did he say? He said, "You have a license for that freedom?" Yeah, exactly. Do you have a license for that freedom? Oh boy, yeah, we're gonna do this, man. But mock trials would be great. We'll have a tyranny judge watch episode. Maybe we'll start doing that. I'll do like a Friday mornings tyranny judge watch, and we'll review one of these videos of judges just being pieces of shit, and we'll go over the model code of judicial conduct and the court rules of the state that he's in, and call him out for being a fucking total dipshit asshole. That stuff I like doing. And then the mock trials. People want to do the mock trials. I love this. Who's going to be the judge? Judging the judges. Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it. We should put these guys on public display and call them out. You know? What? Every hollow point is a felony? I didn't know that. Hollow point. That's a felony. Fuck you. Fuck these guys.
Call bullshit on that. What state is he on that they're saying that?
New Jersey. I could believe it though. That's a New Jersey thing. Hollow point. Do they not realize that the hollow point is so that way when it enters the target, it stays in the target? It's actually safer than using the non-hollow points. Like, this is how stupid these people are who make these fucking rules. Yeah, we could use actual cases in the mock trials. Yeah, why not?
That's what my daughter did when she was attending undergraduate law school. They had mock trial teams, and we went around to the country and beat Harvard one year.
Oh, there you go. So we'll start doing that. I got someone who's gonna. I'm gonna try to get them in. A friend of mine who would be the perfect judge for the mock trials. It's a woman, and she is unrelentless. Let me tell you, and she knows all their tricks. I just have to get her agreement to come in and do it. She might do it. I could probably do it if I get her on Zoom. But she and Melody, you know her. I'll just put it out there that you actually know who that is. But she's not in any groups. She has no social media. She does not do any of that stuff, right? So, but I would love to have her come on and be the judge for the mock trials, because she is unrelentingly persistent and knows all their schemes because she's been doing this stuff for many years, and she knows how the judges will play different angles and stuff like that all the time. So, yeah. Hey, well, welcome to the group, man. We'll see you in there. We're gonna have a group meeting sometime next week. We have meetings every week, so we'll be there and have fun. But the mock trial thing will be a lot of fun. We're going to do that. If I could get her to come in and do the mock trials as the judge, oh, man. I'm telling you, man, people are going to be like, damn, man, this is great. You know? Oh, yeah, she is. She's great. She's, you can't call her a person. She'll take high offense to that. So never call her a person. She'll be so mad at you. I can't talk to you anymore. So don't do that. But yeah, she would be great. I'd love to get her in to do at least that. And I think she would have fun with that anyway. 4th degree felony. What? New Jersey is out of control. Like they don't even know the purpose of Hollow Point. Right? Yeah, we're going to do that. We will do mock trials. We will absolutely do it. Even if we don't get her, you know, we'll work it out. With the judges being ruthless and stuff like that. We'll use real case law and stuff like that, real court cases, and show how do we overcome these examples. Like we'll use the, the judge thing, the tyranny judge watch videos as examples of how to handle these jerks. Knowingly possess a hollow nose or dumb bullet is a 4th degree indictable criminal equivalent to a felony in other states. I tell you, New Jersey's psychotic. New Jersey is so bad. Okay, the state is falling apart, completely falling apart.
All right? Is it because of all the legislators are attorneys?
That's definitely one of the reasons. Yeah.
And so they make all these outrageous laws to try to circumvent their them being illegal to begin with.
Yeah. So they do all this crap. It's all BS, 100%. You know, what they're doing. It's wrong. What they're doing is illegal. I had someone on TikTok was like, if a law was unconstitutional, how did it get passed? I'm like, are you how stupid could you possibly be? Like, do you not hear yourself? They do it all the time. Every permitting law in the country for guns is 100% illegal. It's unconstitutional. Every single one. The fact to show ID to buy a gun is illegal. That's an infringement. I don't think he knows what infringement means. And then you got the stupid idiots, the real dumb people who go, it only applies to a militia. Motherfucker, I'm a militia of one. Don't even play that crap. All right? Like, get real. Oh, militia is only people in the militia. It's only for army people. No, it's not. Stupid asses. I swear, these anti-Second Amendment people are so freaking stupid. And their arguments, yeah, that's the New Jersey's falling apart. It's totally falling apart. They keep raising up everything. The price of everything goes up. The cost of living is going up, right? The only thing that's cheap around here is the gas. And that's because we're right by the docks where the gas is imported from. That's the only reason. It doesn't cost much to transport into Jersey. Yeah, Hambone, he's another one. That wasn't even him. It was someone else that said it. Last time Hambone spoke to me, he said he agreed with me. I was like, oh my goodness. Raymond's in the store.
Shocked. That's a shocker.
I talked about the national status and I showed all 4 national statuses and he says, I agree with you. I said, oh, look at that. We got something. We don't care. That's if you let them. Well, they're going to define it how they want. This is one thing that I've been fighting with the courts over is they say this and I say, no, it's that. And they go, well, no, we see this. And I go, you're just only saying that because then if I keep using this term here, you can't enforce it. So you keep switching it to this. And they're like, I mean, you could always call them out. I tried to do that with motor vehicle versus motor carrier. He's like, well, you're driving motor vehicle? No. Well, it says you were. He says you were. I said, what's a motor carrier? He's like, that's stupid. A motor carrier, isn't that something that carries motors? And I was like, well, if you want to really get technical, there's no motor on this thing at all. So there is no motor. It was an engine. So, engine carrier. How about that? And he's like, I was like, he didn't want to bring that up. He's like, well, they're the same thing. I'm like, they're not the same thing. The motor carrier has exemptions. Motor vehicles have some exemptions, but not the same. But motor carriers do not have to necessarily be in commerce. Motor vehicles are in commerce. That's just the nature of it. Yeah. Yeah, we the people are the militia. So it's like, it says the right of the people shall not be infringed, but then they say, oh, they mean the militia. Well, did you not see the preamble? We the people? Didn't it say we the militia? These guys are freaking dumb. That's the problem, is they can't read, right? And this is like the whole grammar thing. It comes back to the grammar thing. Like, they don't understand grammar, so they think that the people is referring to militia and not the people. As in the preamble, we the people. Right over their heads. I tried to make that argument with a quote-unquote friend of mine like about a decade ago, and he kept screaming at me about the militia. It only applies to the militia. Only applies to the militia. And I said, and what was the definition of militia in 1789? And he goes, that's irrelevant. I said, well, that's when I said, well, that was written in 1791, right? That Bill of Rights, 1791. So what was the definition then? 1791. He's like, no, that's stupid. We're talking about modern times. I said, you're arguing a document written in the 1700s, and you want to use modern definitions? I said, that's the problem. That's why you're wrong. I said, this is why you're having an issue, because you don't understand that. You have to look at the time period and how the term was being used then. All right, we can do that. Let's look at it. Let's see what militia meant back in the 1700s. Let's go to my dictionaries. I have some old dictionaries. Let's do Tomlin's 1797. Let's do that. And, yeah. Hopefully we can let's see if militia's in here. By the way, just so you guys know, it's going to be, oh wait, no, I got to get volume 2. It doesn't go all the way up.
Denali on YouTube says definitions don't change. The hell they don't. They change them all the frickin' time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole scam, is that they just change what the words mean, right? He's right in a sense, like, that the definition is the definition from the way it was used back then, right? But they do modify it and stuff like that, and that is the problem. Let's see. We're going to use 1797 Sheridan Dictionary. Let's see if it's in here. Militia. Let's go here. This is 1797. Militia. We're going to look at militia. This is Sheridan. Militia. Okay. No. It's not in here. Damn. All right, we'll try another one. It's a good thing I got a whole bunch of these. 1691. Okay, Cunningham. Let's do the 1765. Oh, no. Let's do the Ainsworth. 1773. Ainsworth. That's what we'll do. Let's look at that one. All right. Just so, if you want to know, I got it. This is where I'm getting this stuff from. Okay. You can download these things. M. Okay. Every time I say militia, I think of this Metallica song called Metal Militia. It's like, I want to be part of that militia when I was a kid. I thought if you joined, you'd get like free guns. No, it didn't work like that. It's just like being just listening to heavy metal. Militia. Okay, here we go. Militia. The being a soldier, warfare, any toil, employment, or service. The militia folder. This is all. I don't know what that means. Imaginary militia. Soldiers that receive pay without appearing in service. Right. Let's see. The militia. To lift himself. To lift himself for a soldier. To list himself for a soldier.
Yeah, the fancy S's look like F's.
Yeah, the list himself for a soldier. So he's saying he's a one who claims to be a soldier is a soldier. Interesting. That's an interesting concept. I didn't think of that.
Well, they probably didn't have enlistment truly back then, because who would they enlist with?
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing, is that the people, they don't understand that concept right there. That's an important concept. Is that there was no way to enlist. We're gonna go to. We're gonna see if I can find in another one. What is this? E. But yeah, Cunningham, Blount. Let's do maybe Anderson. Let's do Ballantyne's. Let's try Ballantyne's. No, that's M. Perfect. M. Ballantyne's. Much easier to read now, right? This is Ballantyne's dictionary. This is from like 1856. So after.
Я выйду, здесь показывают это.
No.
Что?
Здесь показывают фотографию, не знаю, как ее убрать.
No, it's not in here either. Jeez, man. What is up with this? Oh, well. Wait, maybe it's over here. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong spot. No. Yeah, militia. A body of armed citizens trained to military duty who may be called out in certain cases but may not be kept in service, like standing armies in time of peace. Right? There you go. But the militia doesn't mean it's not, the guns are not for the militia, but it's just, look, you want to get trained in military duties? You could do ROTC. You could go down to the local gun range and go practice every day. All right. That's it. That's the training. Anyway, all right. So where are we going? We went on a tangent on the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment, man. Violating our rights. That's it? Everyone's quiet now?
I had to go check on the cat. My husband called me on the phone and says, there's a cat trying to get your cat, so I had to go save my cat. We've had a huge fox stalking the neighborhood. And I live in town.
Yeah. Oh, I like what this guy's saying.
in here.
Ask them. Who's doing that? Okay, he stopped. All right. Ask them, what dictionary are you using? What language are you speaking? That's a great idea. The other thing is, where's your terms and conditions? I love that idea. Where's your terms and conditions? Oh, don't you play that game? Why not? I can't play games. That's my whole thing here is to play games. You guys want to play games. You're playing games with my freedom.
Well, that's what court is a game.
Yeah. Yeah, they're playing games with our freedom. So, well, and they laugh at it. They're like, oh, well, we don't care. We just want to get paid. So you're playing the game with my life over a paycheck. This is why we don't like you. Right? This is the problem we have with you people.
Well, you need to get an attorney.
You mean someone who works for you?
What I want to say next time.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. Yeah, Court's a racket. It's a racket. They don't care. They don't respect your rights, and they tell you, oh, if you want your rights, you should get a lawyer. Are you telling me I don't have rights unless I have a lawyer? Well, there's my wife calling me now, so I'll have to figure out what's going on.
You don't have any rights if you have an attorney.
Yeah, exactly. The attorney has the rights. That's why I said, like, the power of attorney, you can go record that, because then you're giving yourself back the power, right, through a power of attorney. But most of the documents you should not be recording in publicly, right? Some things you can, right? But they discredit people. All right, I'm gonna talk about this, right? The things that we talk about or expose, right? This is hazardous to the people who work in government, right? They benefit from criminal activities, right? They protect and continue to protect all this information that we put out there by using deception and propaganda. Okay, there are two types of government, right? There's government by consent. Okay, this is the type of government that serves the people and operates only by continuing consent. It doesn't force people to accept its services and allows them to fire the government and govern themselves privately if they want. And then you have a terrorist government. Okay, this is the type of government that rules from above by force or fraud, right? Or both, right? And it always results in idolatry towards government. Idolatry meaning like idolizing government. Okay, this is how the media portrays government. They either idolize the people in government or they make them totally despicable so you hate them, right? There is no in between. It's like, oh, these people are totally sick. And these people, you should worship the ground they work on. That's how the media portrays these people, right? It's ideology towards government, right?
Yeah, that's why they always put the picture of them with like a sunbeam behind them so that it has like the ideology look to them so that they look angelic or whatever.
Yeah.
And then in YouTube, Damon Caldwell 777 talks about asterisk counsel. Yes, we're supposed to be able to have counsel. We don't need attorneys.
That's right. You have a right to counsel. I can consult with other people. But they're like, well, we're going to put a license on that too. I need a license, meaning you have to go spend fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars of law school. And then if you pass this super elaborate test, right, then you can be part of the club. And now you can be counsel. But
So Joe,
yeah.
Have you ever looked into possibly taking the bar exam? You.
I don't know. I mean, I thought about it. My wife tells me I should do it. You need a certain amount of credits in order to actually go take the exam. So you have to get certain class credits, and then once you have those credits, you can take the exam.
Okay.
And then pledge
that
my
beautiful brain of yours.
I'll cross my fingers if I pass, and then they're like, "Well, now you have to take an oath to the bar." I'll cross my fingers when I take the oath. Oh man, I wouldn't do that. Come on, guys. And if I did, I'd be disbarred in a week anyway. Even if I got the bar, I passed, and I took the oath and all that stuff, I'd be disbarred within a week. The first day, I'd be like, guys, I'm a lawyer now. I'm going to give you legal advice. They'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Right? Yeah, don't swear the oath. But yeah, in the American Republican form of government, the requirement for consent in all human interactions is the essence and foundation of our sovereignty as human beings, right? This is the foundation of our system of law, right? It started with the Declaration of Independence. Okay, and then it says that the secure these rights, government instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That's the Declaration of Independence. Anyone who says, well, that's not law, I say, go look up the statutes at large, one stat one, and there you will find the foundational law from which everything else of our country is derived from. And that is the Declaration of Independence. So in a system of government where the Bill of Rights makes everyone into a sovereign, the only way your rights can be adversely affected is if you consent to lose them or contract them away in exchange for some benefit. Okay, like Social Security, a driver's license, gun permits, stuff like that. Even the Declaration of Independence forbids you contract them away to a real de jure government, right? It only allows you to contract them away to private parties. That's why they're called unalienable rights, right? Unalienable rights, that's what the Declaration of Independence indicates. It must be incapable of being sold, transferred, bargained away through any kind of commercial process, right? And especially through any kind of government franchise, okay? Now, so that means that anyone who tries to entice you to a contract, to contract away your rights protected by the Constitution, is actually operating not as a government in the classical sense, but rather as a private, for-profit, de facto corporation. They seek to enslave and plunder you. It is violating the very purpose, the only purpose of its creation, which is to protect your private rights, not only to and not to defend them, but you define them in your own specific case, right? So, like the cops did this to me, right? They arrested me. They kept me locked up in a jail cell for about 2 hours. No phone calls, no nothing. Then he reads me my rights, right? Couldn't contact anybody for 2 hours. Couldn't make any phone calls. Then the cop reads me my rights 2 hours later.
That was a violation.
That's a violation, right? That's one thing. I tried to hammer that one down. They didn't like that one. The courts were just dead quiet about it. Then I said, and plus they had he had the camera on the whole time. Then he reads the rights and he hands me a piece of paper. Goes, all right, sign here. I said, sign the paper. He goes, yeah, so that that I read you your rights. I said, okay. So I read it and I go, I'm not going to sign it. He's like, no, just sign it. I said, no, I'm not signing it. It says right here that I'm going to waive all those rights you just read to me. That tells you right there, that moment. I looked at him. I said, you are a private, for-profit. I didn't say it to him because I'm not an idiot. But I'm like, you're a private, for-profit, de facto corporation. You are not here to protect my private rights. You are in violation of your charter. You're in violation of your oath. And you are actually acting in a way to seek to enslave and plunder me. That's what you're doing, right? You're turning, like that's what he was doing. So I said, I refuse to sign it. He's like, you don't have to. It just makes things a little easier. I said, not for me. I don't waive rights. That's something I just don't do. He's like, all right. And he walks away. And then he whispers something to another cop and walks out the room. Now, my phone, they had taken my phone. My phone was recording. All right. So I had my phone recording while I was in there. And the phone was sitting right on the desk next to the cop. And I heard exactly what he said to the cop later on. Right. I got the recording. He leaned over. He whispered to him. He goes, don't talk to him. He invoked his rights. I had to go listen to it like 8 times because I couldn't quite make it out. But after a while, I was like, okay, that's what he said. The word invoke I couldn't get a bunch of times. So, yeah. But yeah, he told him, don't talk to him. He invoked his rights. I was like, motherfucker, I invoked my rights the second you pulled me over. The second he pulled me over, the first thing I said to the guy was, I said, I'll give you everything you need as soon as I have counsel present. I can't waive my 4th, 5th, or 6th Amendment rights. And he goes, well, then you're under arrest. What? The only time I can invoke my rights is after the cops give me the option to waive them? That's bullshit. That tells you that it's a de facto corporation and not a real government. That's not government. That's not government duty. Government does not sit there and make people waive their rights. Okay? That is a de facto government. Okay?
They're policy enforcers. They're not peace officers.
Yeah. I just made the whole thing about consent. I just made a video yesterday on Rumble.
Yes, I was watching it.
That video tells you everything, right? Consent makes the law. That's how it works. Consent makes the law. A contract is law between the parties. Okay, that I love that. Contract is a law between the parties. When you get the driver's license, what have you done? You've consented to follow the laws between the parties. No, and they've tried this shit on me before I ever got a license. And it was funny how most of the time the charges didn't stick, but once the judge was like, "I'm coming down on you real hard now," right? Yeah, that's when I was like, "Fine, I'll get a license," because it was like 7-8 years of like torture with these fucking people. So I went and got a license. I figured I'd just keep the peace, right? Someone call me now? No, no one's calling me. All right.
So when we were talking about possibly you taking the test, one of the people in YouTube says, but then you would be able to say, yes, I've gone to law school.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So when they say, "Dude, you're not properly trained," like, motherfucker, I went to law school. They're like, oh. So I might actually do some classes just so I could say that. Just to stick it to them a little bit, right? Those classes are expensive, man. They're a lot of money, like a few $1,000s. I'm like, oh my god, that's a lot of money. Just to stick it back to someone on TikTok or something. But maybe I thought about it. My wife been trying to convince me for a number of years to do it. I was like, no. But to say that a government actor or officers operating without the authority of law or under the color of law or illegally really simply just means that they are enforcing civil laws against and therefore governing people who never expressly consented to be civilly governed. Right? And that's the thing is like, well, how do you consent to be governed? By voluntarily associating with a specific group of people, municipal group of people, calling yourself a citizen or resident or inhabitant under their laws. No one can enforce you to do that. And that's an important thing. Like when you go get a driver, my brother did this to me the other day. He goes, wait a second. So my driver's license says I'm a U.S. citizen? I said, well, who told them that you were a U.S. citizen? He goes, I guess I did when I filled out the application. I'm like, did you tell him you're a resident? He goes, well, I guess so because it has the address on there. I'm like, then you consented. That's how you gave consent. You consented to be governed. Now you're a citizen, resident under their laws. All right. Have your record of unrebutted facts. Now that's another thing you can record. Unrebutted facts. That's a good thing to record. Here's all the things, right? So no one can force you to do that. If they do, they're terrorists. That's it. Just plain simple. They're just terrorists. They're interfering with your right to associate and your freedom to not associate. Now, that's protected by the First Amendment. Okay? Forcing you to contract for protection and it's a protection racket. It's like, pay us your protection. Who are you protecting me from? Us. It's the fucking mafia, right?
They are the mafia.
That's what it is, you know. Oh, we'll just break your windshield. We're gonna break your windows. We're gonna drag you out of the car. We're gonna put you in a cell and keep you there until you submit to our dominion, right?
Yep, that's what it is.
Not only that, but they're legally kidnapping your identity through those ID cards, right? They're transporting it to a foreign jurisdiction, which is all federal.
They traffic us. They steal from us. They impersonate us.
Imposing unconstitutional involuntary servitude. That's
all the above.
In violation of the 13th Amendment. They enforce laws that a foreign jurisdiction, which is D.C., upon non-consenting parties. This is what forced me to go get a driver's license when I was like almost 30 years old. I didn't get one until I was almost 30, right? Forget about it. Oh my God. Forget about it. So the scripture, I mean, there's a lot of things. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that, but I started reading the comments. But yeah. Yes, I'm also 1776 on Rumble. Yeah. Where's this? Don't the line with the criminal. Don't align with the criminal. Yeah, no, I'm not going to align with the criminals, man. No, You know, I kind of don't want to do any of those courses. I know some people. My wife is like, you just do it anyway. I'm like, no. The only reason why I would do it is to get a bar number, and then from the bar number, I would have like super cheap access to Westlaw. Apparently, when you're a lawyer, that freaking $2,000 a month uh, service is like $50 a month. So
Hey,
maybe,
Hey, Joe.
yeah.
It's Nancy again. Have you looked at Brent Allen Winter's End of Court? Because that was from what I remember, Brent talking about the ends of court was the system that the conquered English speaking population after the Norman invasion set up uh, to train the people in the law. So I know that Brent Allen Winters. I haven't looked into it, but I don't know what that involves. But I think it's kind of a study course for law.
I don't particularly like him.
Oh,
I think he's kind of a rude jerk. My personal opinion. I respect him, but that's how I feel about him. I think he's a little chauvinistic, right? I've seen him, you know, yell at women saying you don't talk over a man. I'm like, dude, that's a little out of fucking line. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not. I don't like that shit. I don't. Just because you're a woman don't mean that you have less of a voice. You know, um, that I don't respect. Some other things he said in the past, I don't respect, and he also, like I've asked him questions and he just won't answer. He won't give me any answers to any questions I've ever asked him. He'll purposely go into these long, convoluted stories that do not answer any questions to get out of answering a question because he is a bar card.
He transverses.
Yeah, and Melody knows what I'm talking about. So I don't particularly like him. I think he's kind of a conceited jerk and a little too chauvinistic for modern days. Like maybe if it was the 1920s, I think he would have gotten away with it. But you can't talk like that to people today, right? So
okay.
that's my opinion on him. I don't. I'd rather. There was guys that were like, say, "Oh, you gotta listen to this guy," and I'm like, "Yeah, but that guy's a fucking asshole. I don't want to listen to an asshole." The guy, why can't you be respectful towards people? Like I know sometimes I get mad at people and stuff like that, and I try to apologize when I catch it, but um, he doesn't say sorry. He just yells at people and like he's disrespectful, and but he's doing that whole bar card mentality where I'm more important and better than you, so I don't like that stuff.
Have you ever visited with Dr. Jurisdictionary? Let me think of his name.
Oh yeah. I used to have jurisdictionary years ago. I learned a lot of litigation from that website. Um, so I used to have it. It was great. Like I learned a lot of stuff from there. That's partially where I'm imparting some of that information to the courtroom mastery course. Although it's not coming directly from him because technically the rules of that is that you can't share that somewhere else. Right.
Yeah, part of his agreement. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I respect that. Like a lot of these they do that, and I'm probably going to have the same thing in the Liberty Foundation, where I have some kind of agreement. Like, look, the stuff we talk about in here, some of that stuff we shouldn't share outside of here. So, I'll probably put like an explanatory thing in the 0.0 thing, like showing you what's mandatory, what's not mandatory, what should be kept like off of the public forums, and then what you can talk about freely, right? So. But you know what? Why don't I just show you guys what I'm doing?
There was one Friday that Hugh and Cal Washington interviewed Dr. Frederick Graves, and he said he never had to swear any kind of oath to the bar, to Queen or any of that. So he's like,
That might be true. Could be. But I don't know how much of that's true and how much isn't. You know what I mean? They say, yo, you have to do this swear, you have to swear here, you got to swear to these guys. But I'll show you. So what I'm gonna do, this is the Liberty Foundation for everyone who doesn't know on YouTube and stuff. But this is Liberty Foundation, right? So point 0.0 is just a welcome. Right now, it's only these two sections. It's this a disclaimer, your path to freedom, and I'm gonna put in another section that goes over how the courses work, right? Which ones are mandatory to do, right? And then which ones aren't. Okay. Obviously, nothing's mandatory. You don't have to do anything, but there would be like prerequisite courses that need to be done before other courses, like the prepaid mail forms of government and trust 101, not needed to be done, but the terms and phrases is the first real course to do. Administrative process, discharging debt, and courtroom mastery are not mandatory. They're just kind of like you can do them if you want or if you feel like you need to do them. National is the next one, right? Becoming national, that's the passport correction. And then there's the 2.5, tax recoupment, revocation of election. Then there's assumed name. These all follow in order, okay? And then the freedom from martial law. And then there's going to be a couple other ones after that, okay? So that's how it is right now, but there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a 2.1 course specifically on the children and how to handle your children and that stuff. This comes afterwards because the first thing you do before you even do the ROE is you could just do the tax recoupment, get your money back. That actually opens up the door to a smoother transition to doing the revocation of election. Because if you start doing this 2.5 course first, and then do a revocation of election, the IRS is already on notice as your status as a non-resident alien. And once you do this, then you can properly do a 3.1 course, which is going to be the tax forms you do afterwards and how to handle your employers. And it will also prevent lock-in letters and stuff like that. Because that was another issue that a lot of people had, was that they were just like withholding and then getting lock-in letters. Their bosses were getting lock-in letters from the IRS saying, tax them, take the taxes out. Then the companies just do it. But the 2.5 course and this 3 course, and then the 3.1, if you do all that in order, it actually fixes that situation so that way you don't have those issues. So that was the whole purpose of doing that. The assumed name course is going to have a bunch of points in there too, because we're going to do a separate course after the assumed name. We're going to do one for dissolving contracts utilizing the information in the assumed name course. Right. And just so that everybody sees, like if you look at the modules and stuff like that, they're just called modules. And then like you have all your sections here with the definitions, core concepts, right? Then you have your different sections with structure, legal position questions, right? Analytical questions, help you analyze this information a little bit better, application questions, see how you can apply this. And then there's essays that you would do for each, and it goes the same way through all the courses. All the courses are going to do that, and that's how that group works. All right, so that's what we're doing over there, and that's the anyone who's from the Liberty Foundation, you want to speak about it real quick?
It's awesome. You have given so much for so little, and you keep adding. It's just amazing, Joe. Gratitude for all you do and all the time you share.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, I'm the kind of guy who doesn't stop. I can't stop. I can't sit still, right? I can't like not do anything. I just like I can't even watch a movie unless like the movie's like really like if it's an intense story from beginning to end, I can watch it. But if it gets slow or whatever, I'm off doing something else. I can't do a damn thing. Dave, don't raise your hand, just speak up.
Oh, just one moment. So, okay, so are you familiar with Willoughby Genius?
No.
Huh?
Willie be genius?
It's basically an alternative law AI.
No, I'm not going to use AI, so we can just move on from that conversation.
Okay, so the other thing is like my idea is the world is not getting better. So there's a certain amount of urgency. And from Brandon Joe Williams, I got the idea of infinite money. I know it's not really money, but it seems like one way to go would be to apply for a lot of credit cards, not pay them off, technically not pay them off. Well, I mean, you don't really owe the money because there is no money. There's only negotiable instruments. So you could get a lot of negotiable instruments from credit cards, not pay it off. And if you could get a system of how to do that, you could actually expand the movement a lot faster. Does that make sense?
Yeah, me and Brandon talked about that years ago. The problem is that the credit card companies they won't honor a lot of those processes. So it's kind of gone down this funky road, and then they destroy your credit if you try to do these things and mess around with them too much. It's a slippery slope. It hasn't worked out. It doesn't mean I've given up. The idea is fine, but the problem is that it just hasn't manifested yet, right? So there's always more things to do and try in order to get something like that to work out. But I get what you're saying.
Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So I don't know if you remember a conversation about that stuff. I was actually out of the room because I'm getting ready to leave. This is Vital, by the way. So on the credit cards, I have it all resolved of how to use them and how to tap them, and never worry about it messing up your credit.
Right.
So at some point we'll talk about that again.
All right. Yeah, we could go over that. We could talk about that in one of the Liberty meetings or something like that. I think that would be really cool.
yeah, I'd like to know about
Yeah,
that.
I got an appointment with you March 18, I think. I was hoping for sooner, but couldn't find anything sooner.
Sorry.
So, yeah, I started to create a system just with letters, no litigation. Brandon thinks or says it would require litigation, but litigation is not something that I could do, or a lot of people wouldn't do litigation. So I created my own system. I haven't really majorly tried it. I have fixed my credit to a large degree, but there are people who are doing that. And like the guy who just spoke, you know, I'll give my email address, Dave, Dave.
Well, hold on. You guys are both in Liberty, so you guys can hit each other up in there. Don't share all your stuff on.
Okay, Dave Cushion.
But all right, so yeah, there are things that we do to discharge credit card debts and stuff like that. It's just not consistent because of the fact that we're dealing with a fraudulent system, right? Because it's fraudulent, they go back and forth on things like the coupons have worked, coupons don't work. Sending bills of exchange that works. Sometimes these things don't work. Sometimes we do other things. There's a bunch of other things that we do: writing letters, notices, securitization questions, stuff like that. And there's some things work, some things don't work. But if Vital's got something, we're going to listen to what he wants to talk about in maybe a weekly meeting or something if he wants to share it there. Otherwise, we'll do something. But yeah, that's that whole thing is it's a whole other shitstorm of complications that we have to get over in order to make it consistent. The issue is making it consistent. That's been the problem. Right?
That Mansa guy supposedly has it all figured out.
Yeah, supposedly. I mean, I guess it's really he uses the Sesta KV Act and something else, But
I think we should be our own bank. I think if you can't fight the monster, why not be one?
yeah, I've gone down that road too. There's a lot of red tape on that
Yeah, it's
one.
true. That's
You
very
know,
true.
that's why I haven't done it. I would have did it. I would have done it a few years ago. But it was a
I know
lot
it
of red
takes
tape.
six. It takes six to establish one, a
I got
credit union,
we got enough. We got 6 people. That's not
easily.
yeah,
And and
easily.
and I'm thinking, why not just start it? So a group of people like us, or Brandon. Because I've known of Brandon for a while. I mean,
Brandon
we
talked
could be
about
our own bank and have our own credit cards, the whole 9 yards.
yeah, we talked about that. Brandon and I talked about doing that, and it just there's certain issues that come up that we haven't. It's just not all there. You know what I mean? Like I'm not
Yeah.
opposed to it. It's just that we have to
If it was
look at
easy, everybody would do it. That's the
yeah,
thing
look
is they're not telling us all the rules.
right. Yeah, you have to read the circulars, the operating circulars, and then you'll really understand. But then you have to know which Federal Reserve bank are you going to be contracting with, and stuff like
Exactly.
that.
it
So
just it's a deep dark hole.
yeah,
Well,
it really is.
it's frustrating.
Yeah, but we could do. I think Denali's saying something here. I think, yeah. What if we made a bank based off of gold and silver and issued silver notes, silver certificates, gold notes, gold certificates, right? Saying that we're only our bank only adheres to Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution and devoid of Title 12, right? Because Title 12 is all de facto stuff, we could create something very unique and interesting, especially if we start utilizing that as currency for with each other. Okay, it would create all kinds of crap. You
That's
know,
what's going on now. All the banks are buying up all the gold and silver. A matter of fact, in like Florida, is made it currency now. So I because the crypto's coming, and they're basing everything off of gold and silver.
yeah. We just the colonial script is the real reason for the Revolutionary War. You know, the king couldn't tax colonial script.
Yeah.
The colonists made their own money. So yeah, tax that motherfucker. And then
Yeah.
he's like, no, damn it. So yeah.
And with crypto, they're making it to where they're monetizing security. Oh, it's going to make our system currently look like tiddlywinks because
Yeah.
crypto is going to add a couple extra layers of monetization that nobody ever thought about.
Yeah. So yeah, no, you're right. But the thing is this. So like, it is tricky. We could do something. I would love to do something like that where we could have like digital currency, right? That's backed by gold and silver. I know there's some crypto that does that, but my fear about the digital currency is NSA. I know NSA already has they have 30 contingency plans for crypto already. We don't
Well,
even
let me
know
tell
about
you,
it. They haven't
NSA is a
executed
part
any.
of it, and it's been going on since 2012. So
Yeah.
these guys are way ahead of all of us.
That's what I mean. So that's why I'm like, if we got gold, silver, and then made currency backed by that, and then started trading that way, it would create things like there was a company that's making like these gold. It has gold inside the paper, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool because it's actually made with it. One of the states did it, and but it's not gold coin. It's not silver coin, so it's not. It's technically still not constitutional. It has to be coin. And the reason why they do it with coins is because the little ridges on the coins, right, is to prove that it wasn't cut, it wasn't shaved down or anything like that. You ever wonder why there's little ridges on the coins?
Uh-huh.
The reason why they did that is because back in the old days there was a group of people that would shave off the end of the coin and just kind of melt all those shavings off of tons of coins and then make their own coins from just a little bit of shavings. So what they did to prevent that, we're talking hundreds of years ago. What they did to prevent that was start making the little on the side like that, the little
The
indents like that,
ridge.
the
Yeah, like a
ridges.
shelf. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that protected against fake coins and people ripping off the gold off the coin. The ridge. Yeah. So there was a group of people that were doing that, and that's how they stopped them. And I mean, nowadays we have like the penny, for example, which is defunct, has like that little lip at the end instead of the
Yep.
ridge, and that lip is like the thing that proves that it hasn't been cut or shaved.
Kind of reminds you of the bar, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but yeah, that's why the gold coin is the thing that they pushed for in the Constitution, right? Because that they made it with the bridges and stuff like that. It made it harder to counterfeit. They did ridging on wood. Yes, they did. They had wood sticks as money, right? They used wooden sticks as money, and then they would split the stick in half, right? And then when you would bring in your wood money, they would go take the stick and see if it was correct. That's how they avoided that. I mean, the Money Masters, man, people got to go watch the Money Masters. It's like a 3.5 hour video or 4 hour video. I watched this thing like 20 something years ago, and it was mind blowing.
Yeah.
I learned so much from that. And they do have a recommendation on there for how to fix the problem, which is the gold standard again, which we got to go back to. Yeah, it's on YouTube. So avail yourself of that. It's great. It teaches the history of money, and it shows you even Jesus got violent with these people. The only time he ever got violent was with the freaking bankers. So that says a lot, doesn't it? When it came down to money, even he was like, "I'm ready to fight. Let's go."
Crooks. Yeah. That's what I was thinking is we got to become them to beat them at their own game,
Yeah.
because they've got all the rules and they know them and they play by them and they keep them from everybody. The ones that aren't on the inside, rather.
Yeah. But yeah, I would love to do the bank thing. I mean, maybe inside of Liberty, we can go and talk more about it and see what kind of plans we could come up with. And
Okay.
I'll reach out to Brandon and see if he'd be interested in doing that again. But I know he kind of had back off on doing that a couple of years ago when we talked about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, but he had valid concerns because of some of the issues that come up with being a bank." So I was like, "Yeah, that's good, but maybe we could do something like that, or a credit union, right?"
Well, yeah, and plus being in the middle of the throes of a battle, when you're fighting like a couple of years ago, it's not like you didn't have things going on, and Brandon was just getting wound up with all what he just finally got a grip on of. And now when you look back, it's like the only way through is in it, because you can be on the outside of this, but then like the other gentleman, your credit's tanked, and you've got all these quote unquote bills that you have to pay, and then you have to get them erased, and they don't want you to know, and they'll do everything they can to keep that away from all of us. So that's what I was thinking is the only way through is in it.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing is that in the discharge course, I'll pull it up again. I'll just show you that. In the discharge course, there's going to be a lot more talks going on in here. Like I'll even click on it, but we can cancel debts, right? How to write to debt collectors, ending the mailings, voiding contracts, rescinding contracts, settling loans. This is by the way only on here. It's not in on.
Back in the 90s, they were throwing us in jail for doing this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I know. I was the FBI come and pick me up. So trust me, I
yeah.
know about this crap.
Yeah,
It's
see,
frustrating.
yeah, no, I understand. That's why I'm always careful about that stuff. That's why I don't like to talk about it online too much or push it too hard. Bills of exchange have gotten people in a lot of trouble. The IRS forms have gotten people in trouble. People end up in prison over stuff, and I'm like,
you're putting your head in the dragon's mouth. Let me tell you, I know, I've been there.
Yeah.
I think it took a bite off my ass a few times, but yeah, but it still pissed me off, but I made it through. And that's what I was thinking is the only way through is just be a bank.
I like the idea. If we were just a gold, silver standard bank, I think that would be fantastic. That I could deal with because then we don't need the Federal Reserve. We don't need any of these other players. And the government can't come after us because we're under the authority of the United States and we have an unlimited right to contract.
Right.
All right, and then that's one of the things, you know. But when you're doing the things operating with these people, using the tax forms and stuff like that, what you're doing is you're consenting to be governed by that specific jurisdiction.
Yep.
And then you become subject to the civil laws that because then you're saying, well, I'm a resident, I'm a citizen, and of course, citizen is always 14th
A
Amendment.
consenting citizen. Exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's how you give up your consent. So I mean, you
Yep.
use the tax form. Like I set it up where the way we can use tax forms is that it's always through another entity, right? That way you're always protecting yourself, but you can still contract with those things. It's always safer to do it with a via, right? So that way it's not you particularly consenting under contract with them, but your entity. So if they come after the entity, that's a different thing. You say, hey, look, I wasn't doing this personally. I was acting as trustee, not personally. And that's how you handle your paperwork with them.
Yeah. The straw man.
Yeah, stuff like that. The assumed
Yeah.
name, trusts. That's how you do it. Anyway, I'm gonna be headed out because I'm getting hungry, so I'm gonna go eat, and I don't think you guys want to hang out while I'm eating food, right? But OC10 agreement, yeah, that is the whole point, yeah. But all right, but here's the thing, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Anybody have any quick questions before I leave? Because I'm gonna leave in a minute.
I have one. Can I, if I have a irrevocable trust, can I create a revocable one?
Of course.
What do I do with the irrevocable? I can't change it, right?
You can't change it, but you could still use it. You just have to learn how to use it, which is going to be in our trust. There's the Trust 101
No,
course.
I'm on that.
So keep working on it. There's going to be more stuff added to that. All right. It's going to be a little bit, there's a lot to it. Someone in the Liberty Foundation was like, I thought I was going to write trust. Where's the education on that? I'm like, there's a lot
Yeah.
of
That was me. That
There's
was
a lot-
me.
Oh yeah, okay. There's a lot of data behind writing trust. Like I can't just show here's how you write a trust, because what if you write it and then all of a sudden now you have this compulsory action with the state that they're gonna come after your trust or they own the trust. So
Oh, I get it.
yeah. It's one of those things like be patient. I am gonna make all that stuff. I'm gonna show you how to do all that, but I'm only one man and I'm putting all of that stuff together myself.
No, I get it.
You know, so I want to put that on there. Trust me, I want to give you all that. If I could give you everything right now, I would just throw it all in there. But it takes time, man, to make all that stuff. And I want to build up some of the data on the trust, so that way you can actually look at it and decide: do I want to do it this way, or do I want to do it this way? What do I want to avail myself from this trust? Do I want these things, or do I want these things? Like Dave here is doing an irrevocable trust, right? He wants to make a revocable trust because he wants to do some modifications probably to it, right? Now, in his irrevocable trust, we don't know the setup or anything like that, but it could be under the laws of a state, whereas his revocable trust might be under the laws of a different state. And it might be because he wants to use the law of perpetuity in a different state in order to keep this trust active and doing certain things, while he's using this trust for other purposes. So he wanted to utilize maybe Delaware as that, so he can use the courts of chancery, and then he wants to use maybe he wants to use South Dakota, because South Dakota has a law of perpetuity, right? Whereas other states don't. They say after 30 years your trust is done, right? Unless you do these things to it, right? But they have to sell the property. Like, by the way, that's the thing in some states, if you hold land into trust, you can only hold it for a certain amount of years. Then it has to give it up. So there's some states where it's like forever, and some states where it's like 300 years, and then some states it's like 50 years, right? Because it has to go back onto the market because of the Commerce Clause. But
yeah, and what I was looking for was like for somebody like me that's single, I have a dog or two, but other than that, I don't have any kids or family, and that's what I was hoping to learn from your trust when I saw that. That's what I was looking for, and nowhere did it mention. And I'm like, oh great, I'm screwed.
No, you're not screwed. You just gotta. I'm just doing those trust 101 classes, but what we're gonna do, I wrote a book on how to write trusts, right, for entertainment purposes only. And in there, we're going to go over the book in that trust course. All right. We're going to go over the book section by section with each questions. And what we're going to do is we're going to have meetings for everyone. And we're going to go over those questions before you move on to the next part. So that way, everything is down solid. You know your information well. And by the time you're done with this, you could just write trust for friends, family, whoever you want, whenever you want. If you're sitting in, on a plane and you're talking to the guy next to you and, you guys meet and you say, hey, a trust would be a great thing for you and your family. And he goes, yeah, you know what? Let's do it. And you go, I'll write one right now for you. You can write it on the fucking airplane ride and give him a trust by the time you guys get off the plane. Right? That's
Nice.
power. That's what I want for you guys. So if you guys have the power to do that, that's powerful. So, but if it's only going to happen with the right knowledge. So we're building up that knowledge.
Now, is it on Thursdays? That's happening. Is that what it is?
This coming week, I'm gonna definitely do the meeting on Thursday because Wednesday I just can't do it Wednesday, and Friday I'm probably not gonna be able to do it. So it's definitely gonna be for the Liberty Foundation. We're gonna have the meeting this Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll make an announcement in the group for everybody. If you're not in Liberty Foundation, then you will not be there Thursday night. Sorry.
No, I joined this just for that. So
just for the meetings.
Well, no, just for the trust thing. But I figured because I've been doing this all night, watching all your videos, one after another. I figured it's got to be worth something. I'll learn. I'll learn something I haven't found before.
Yeah.
And
there'll be more stuff in the trust stuff. I promise you. There's going to be that trust 101 is going to be filled with stuff.
Yeah, because I got to get stuff out of my name just so the government doesn't snatch my stuff. That's a concern for me. So
yeah, the trust. I'm going to show. Oh yeah, by the way, I like how someone brought up the trust thing for children. I will in Liberty Foundation. I am going to show you how to utilize the trust to protect your children. Okay?
Gotcha.
That's going to be in a 4-point course, a 4 course. Like when I say 4, it's going to be like an assumed name thing. It's going to be tied with. No, actually, no, it's not. Sorry, it's going to be in a 5-point course because 5 is about martial law and all that stuff. So I'm going to show you guys how it works because that's under martial law. That's all martial law stuff. So
yeah, when you poke the bear, the government tends to get a little upset. So I'm like, I got to get my stuff out of my name. I'm too much of a target. That's not a good thing. Even in Texas, let me tell you.
Yeah. So in the martial law course, I talked about things that I didn't even show yet. So there was things I said, there was exhibits listed in something I did. And I said, I'm going to explain those exhibits in, somewhere else later on, but it's going to be like a 5.1 or something like that. We're just going to talk about certain aspects of that.
Copy that.
But anyway, guys, appreciate you all hanging out. Thank you everybody for joining the group. And if you're in the trust community, I'll see you guys Monday morning. And if you're in Liberty Foundation, I'll see you guys Thursday night. And if you're in both, then I'll see you guys a few times. All right. But otherwise, YouTube, you guys, thanks for hanging out too and hanging out with us. And I'll see you guys hopefully next Saturday.
Gratitude, Joe.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Maybe we'll just start doing the tyrannical judge watch episodes. We'll do those. That'll be cool. Good, like 20-minute segment. We'll start.
It's funny. I wanted to tell you about this real quick. We made a judge not retire. A group of guys and me, we held court and forced him to work until he died. You can do that. A lot of folks don't understand it, but because he dishonored our things, we said, okay, fine. We held a tribunal and forced him to work till the day he died. Wow. Omaha, Nebraska.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe.
Hey. Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate you starting this community. I found it through Brandon. Like I said, I appreciate this community. Trying, hoping to step up my game rather quickly. Been doing it for a while. Just got stuck. Got in trouble doing negotiable instruments and things like that back. I can't remember his name. I had a little run in with the FBI over it.
Winston Trout.
No. I can't remember.
There was a few guys. Winston Trout. He's
It
still
was about
around, but he's in federal prison.
2010.
Tim Turner.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And, got in trouble over his stuff. Trying to bounce back, get it all together, step away from driving and do something I really, really enjoy. But I'm eager to, and I'm grateful for Brandon for and seeing you on him. That's how I found you.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll send him. I'll shoot him a thanks over from him to him. But no, I appreciate it, and I hope you're getting out everything you want to get out of these courses. And yes, the aim is to not get people in trouble. This is why I'm very careful about even inside Liberty Foundation what information I do share with people and what I don't, because I don't want people getting in trouble. You should not be getting in trouble for standing on your rights.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, but that's
I
also
just
telling
joined
you.
it yesterday.
Okay, well, welcome in, man. I appreciate you being here. All
Yeah,
right.
same here.
Oh, you just joined too. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Because I
it's
saw that video with you and Brandon, and I thought, well, hey, if there's one thing I could learn from him, it's worth $50. So,
yeah. I'll be
Well, you're
putting
going to learn
more.
more than one thing.
well, yeah. But like I said, if I can get one thing out of it, it's well worth $50.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because the
New
rest is
Brandon and
the rest we learned from is usually by like the other gentleman said, Raymond. You get picked up by the FBI, and that's not the way you want to learn. I've been there, done that. It's not
That's a
fun.
hard
no,
lesson.
it was rough too. They came in hard, like
Yeah.
guns over paper.
Black helicopters, dogs. I know. Been there, done that, my
Oh, I
friend.
didn't get the helicopter and dogs.
Oh, I did.
I got guns
And
pointed at my
I
head.
got a month. I had a month in jail. It was a little over a month, and there's no there's no record of me being in jail, but I was there for over a month.
Yeah, that's
That's
happened. Yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
that sucks.
No, that's
I
how
was in
they
there
work.
to see it for a night. That wasn't fun.
That's how they work.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. I look forward to you. Now, you said Monday. At what time was the trust thing?
That's a trust community. That's a different group. We have a Monday meeting in there, but that's gonna be something else. We'll do something like that later.
Now, is that through this foundation that you have? It's a whole separate.
Yeah, that's Bree's group, and then I teach all the classes.
Oh. Is it possible I can join that or?
Yeah, Melody shared the link inside the chat here, so if you want to put that in.
She did?
It's Bree.
I'm new at the Zoom thing, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'll tell you what. I'll send you, since we're talking in school. I'll just send you the link there if you want to take a look at it. But I'm gonna go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you all for being here, hanging out, and everything, and on YouTube and here in the groups. And I appreciate all you people.
Thank you.
All right, you guys have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your week.